Sit back and relax while you listen to Trendkickers podcast. I'm Dave, and along with my co-hosts Dan and Steve, we're going to take you all around the world of miniature wargaming. On tonight's episode, so someone, I want to say it was 2 days ago, or maybe yesterday, depending on when you're listening to this, said, hey, they're looking for some 30k content because one of our podcasts they mentioned, we hadn't done 30k in a little bit. Well, hey, proving you're wrong, we're going to do it right now. Part of the reason we haven't done 30k is because it's been a little tough to get us all together. And personally, when I do videos myself, I usually just do other content. I'd rather have these two around when I want to discuss 30k. And, it's been a little bit tough, but hey, that's happened. That's life. But on tonight's episode, what we thought we would do is we had previously talked about all the various Primarchs. What we wanted to do now, we're at this point in the game where we've went through everything, we've had more things under our belt, and the game has been out for quite a while now. So both we as well as other people have gotten a real chance to play with all of this. So what we wanted to do is to take a look back at these Primarchs, and in particular, it's always funny when you rank things because that causes fights, and fighting is fun. So we are going to make some ranks related to them. Oh yeah. For these rankings, we'll discuss in a moment what it means for our ranking purposes. But we're going to do a brief overview of them as a reminder of what they do, what we think about them, all of that, and then we're going to figure out where we think they should fit. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We will see some more 30k content coming very soon. The next thing we were doing was talking about special characters in a much similar way, but I have to make the tier maker for that, and I didn't have time to do that. I ran out of time today. So you get Primarchs instead. And now, on to the show. All right, gentlemen, how are you on this? It is Wednesday night at 9:08 p.m.
A little run down, but getting better.
Still having trouble adjusting to the job?
It's more of I've just been way too busy for my own good lately. Like I have not listened to my body. I was like, oh yeah, no, I can hang out tonight. Could not hang out tonight. For like every single night for like 3 weeks straight. It's been something, and then I'm not a morning person. I conclusively determined that I am not a morning person. So leaving my house at what is it? 7:15 in the morning. Sun's not even out yet. Going home 5 at night. The sun's already gone. It's not my thing. Not my thing.
All right, I leave some mornings.
Do what you gotta do.
I leave some mornings at 7, and the sun is currently out. You don't live that much further north than me. You in the Arctic?
I live in the mountains.
Oh, are you live in like a little mountain village, like Beauty and the Beast or something here?
Yes.
Surrounded by the Alps?
No joke. We actually have a little microclimate here. There is a, what's it called? Environmental, there's like zoning for like plant species and all that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, of course.
This is like a type 5 zone. This is a type 2 zone, right? The boundary goes right through my backyard. So we have our own microclimate here. Like if it rains by work, oh yeah, there was rain a little bit, there was a drizzle. It's like, oh yeah, the world ended at home. Like one day I went to work and I'm leaving, it's all nice, oh yeah, it's like a 10-minute shower or whatever. Get a phone call. Oh my God, get home as soon as you can. Why, what happened? The flood, the water, it's everywhere. What? So yeah, no, we have weird weather by me.
That is an interesting fresh hell that you live in.
Absolutely. It gotta keep it interesting. Gotta keep it interesting.
Yeah. And Dan, how is your fresh hell of Jello?
Jesus Christ! I'm getting surgery soon, so I'm on a liquid diet today and fasting tomorrow. I haven't done a liquid diet since I was like early teens when I needed like a colonoscopy. So I was like, I can do this. I'm young. Yeah. Holy hell!
It all hits
I didn't
worse
know
when you're
Jello
older.
First of all, I made it through the whole day. And then I was like, there's no way I'm sleeping tonight. No, I can't eat. So I had to look what a liquid diet was. And thankfully, Google told me that Jello is allowed. So my beautiful wife, went out, bought me like 12 packets of Jello, 12 of the 4-packs. And I devoured like 8 or 10 Jello cups. And it felt so good. I'm probably going into diabetic shock, but honestly, it's that or diabetic shock from not eating. So
balance in all things.
Yeah, balance in all things.
But always room for Jello.
Yeah, it's just, oh my God. How I survive the day is I don't know. I don't know. Thankfully the procedure is short tomorrow, so
Hey, there you
I'm
go.
up and out after the day, and Friday I go back to school. So yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good.
Mine has been much more mild. My bad thing was my old car being wrecked and waiting for a new car to come in. But hey, that's like my old
Ooh.
car. The fact it was still moving was great. It had 180,000 miles on it. Because I put, I don't know, 15 to 20,000 miles a year on the car. But hey, it still worked till that end. I got a bunch of money from the insurance for it, surprisingly more than I should have, which I'm absolutely happy with. So I was able to turn that in and getting a new car. So that'll be nice. But so it's been a bit crazy for all of us, but we are getting back to trying to get episodes. We know it's been a little bit since we did episode 100. This is our next official one. I've been putting out some conquests and some other videos since. I have a couple more videos that I'm working on as well that I hope to have out at least one more this week and probably another one the week after Thanksgiving, because obviously that's going to be a little bit harder to get some stuff out then. The hope is that the next 100 that we're doing gets a little bit better. We do know some of the things we had, like issues with background noise and all, so we're going to be trying to work on that and improve a bit. So hopefully the next 100 only improves from there. All right, so let's get into this cavalcade mess here that we have. So, as we said, if you're watching this on YouTube, you will see the tier maker off to the side. If not, we'll talk about it, and I'll make sure it's posted up in spots so people can see it. I'll post it on our Discord once it's all said and done, once the video's been out for a few days at least. So the plan is to go back through the Primarchs. We're going to do short discussions on them, so things we're not going to do. We are not going to read through stat lines. We'll talk about like where, because some of the Primarchs differ a little bit, so maybe the interesting stat, but not read right back through those. We'll discuss, say, warlord traits, but we're not going to necessarily have to read them out, go through it in great detail. We'll also probably mention a little bit about the Legion, just as a brief reminder of the sorts of things they do or things they like. Talk about the sorts of things they have, the abilities they have, all of that, with the end goal of ranking these Primarchs on a few different categories. So we're going to be ranking them based off of their ability to fight. We don't want this to solely be, can my Primarch, can your dad beat up my dad kind of thing. We don't want any of that. But ability to fight is something that you take these guys for, and some of them are quite good at it. We're going to rank them off of that. How they synergize with their Legion. So how do their rules work very well with the Legion, or are they a little bit at odds with each other? We'll talk about related to how they support your army, support your faction. So not only are they a leader, but can they do extra things for you beyond that, whatever that may be. And then there can always be a sort of fourth category of a little bit of a wild card, depending on the other things that they do. Say like an instance of Erebus, because he can summon in demons. Doesn't exactly fit those other ideas, but it's something there as well. We have an S down to D ranking. The way I kind of view it, S is, yeah, this guy's exceptionally good. Your opponent better be okay with you taking it. A is quite good. You should make sure your opponent knows that you're taking them. B/C, you're good. You're probably fine to take them. Not going to be necessarily a detriment to you. B is probably not a detriment. C might be a little bit, but still a good fluffy choice, going to have fun. And D is, you're taking them because you like them. They're probably actually maybe even hurting your force a little bit in terms of what they do, all of that. As always, just as we did the other one, the one requirement we're going to put down is we have to have at least 2 at each level. It's not fun if no one is in the low level, so someone's got to go down there. Doesn't mean they're absolutely terrible, but someone's got to be at the bottom, because otherwise it's boring if no one is. We're also going to be doing this in order, just simply to make our lives easier. You'll also notice probably a reasonable amount of pauses. You'll notice them quickly in the thing, because after we talk about one, we're going to pause to make sure we can review the next Primarch to be comfortable with their rule set before we start trying to talk about them. All right. Anything else that you gentlemen think needs to be said?
Nope.
Okay.
Let's do it.
The other thing we probably don't have to really think much about is the points, because they're all vaguely close. Obviously, other than like the Ascendant versions, but they're all in the 4s, mid 4s-ish sort of level. That can be a final determining factor if someone wants it to be, but otherwise it's not a big thing.
5 maybe, but that's about it.
Yeah, but even then, like if you're mid 4s or around there up to 5, you're about equal. In my view, in this sort of game, you're close enough at least. All right. I guess I'll start since I play Dark Angels. Okay. I don't hear anyone clamoring
for
you're
good,
the lion. So, okay. I own him. He's upstairs. I haven't worked on him yet, along with a whole bunch of other models. So, for the lion, His big thing, when we think about some of his difference related to his stats, he is weapon skill 8. They're not all having that sort of weapon skill. His strength is a 7. They don't all have that. They tend to be more closer to 6s. He's got a bit better of initiative at 7 with 7 attacks. Otherwise, he's the standard sort of stat line. For things he has, we'll go through his war gear in a moment to kind of discuss him. He has Adamantium Will 3-up, so he's got some save versus some of those psychic powers that you have. He, of course, is a loyalist. Anyone who's a loyalist is going to be a loyalist. Anyone who's a traitor is going to be a traitor, so that need not be said, and they all have their own warlord traits. If they're in your army, they are your warlord. That's essentially the sort of thing they have there. Keep in mind for the Dark Angels, the big thing with the Dark Angels is you have all these different Hecadonisticas. You have all these, or Hexagrammaton types as well. You have all these little divisions. You're kind of, jack of all trades, master of none sort of thing. You can deviate yourself as you want. When we talk about him, if he's, say, your warlord, so if you're running this guy in your army, as long as you're a Dark Angel, which makes sense you would be, you gain Crusader. Remind me, Crusader is the 2 dice on the overrun, take the best?
I think it's just a reroll. You grab a book and double check.
Hold on.
Reroll and 2 dice take the best. Oh, actually, no, they're a little bit different. But if you guys want to look that up real fast, just to be sure.
You roll an extra dice, making it super in advance, discard the lowest.
Yeah. So 2 dice take the best
right
when you sweep.
Yep.
And if you can see him, +1 to your leadership. You get an extra reaction in your shooting phase, which overall, at least for when I play Dark Angels / the game in general, the shooting phase reaction is the best one. That's the one I want. I want to be able to shoot back more. I want to be able to shroud when you're going to hit me with last cannons. So for things he gets, so he has the point of the blade. When he declares a charge, instead of rolling, you can just choose to charge 8 inches. You just get an auto charge of that distance. You ignore difficult and dangerous terrain when doing that. You don't get any bonuses due to movement speeds, but you get to go exactly 8. So very predictable charges. He is a more combat-oriented one, so that helps. For his Line's Cholera, they FAQ'd this, didn't they? When he's 4 wounds or less, he gets an extra attack. When he's 2 wounds or less, he gets +2 attacks. I think they changed that, or they clarified it a little bit, if someone wants to check me on that.
I was going to say, what needs clarification? I'm just curious.
Me for a loop.
I thought they changed something, but I could be wrong.
I'm on War Community right now.
Yeah,
Keep talking, I'll check. But I'm just wondering if they changed it. Okay, that makes sense. But
yeah,
I'm wondering why they would need to clarify.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be heresy. I think
he's got a 2-up armor save, 4-up invul, and he gets to reroll one of those per player turn, one of the failed invuls. He actually has a shooting weapon, strength 7, AP 3. It's assault 2. It's a twin link blind and rending on a 3-up. He gets the +1 to hit from Stormwing because he counts as all wings. His rule is essentially he's whatever wing you want him to be at the time. That's essentially what it is when he's in the group.
The way they changed it,
yeah.
Unless I don't know, maybe it's the way they worded it and people are crazy. When Lionel Johnson has 4 wounds or less, he gains +1 attack. When Lionel Johnson has 2 wounds or less, he gains an additional +1 attack.
Because they said it was, that's why. They said it increases it to +2, so they said you get an additional 1, because some people probably thought 1 plus another 2 to make it 3. That's why. It's what it says.
That's objectively wrong. I hate that.
I was going to say
I agree.
I hate that that's necessary.
Yes, I agree, but I knew they had done a clarification. Another thing he has, I'll talk about his weapons in a moment. Fearsome Ruin. When you take a casualty from... Oh, sorry, that's what one of his weapons has. I'll get to that in a second. He also has stasis grenades. They're once per battle. You can hit someone with it. They take an initiative test. They lose -1 to initiative when they fail, things like that. For his weapons, you can take either a sword, that's his strength at AP1, has Armor Bane, has Flesh Bane, so you're getting everything on 2s. It's Mastercraft at instant death and 2-handed. Or you can take a different weapon that's +2 to strength, but AP3 instead. It's breaching on a 4, it's Reaping Blow, you get some extra attacks, Reaping Blow 2, it's Mastercrafted. And that Fearsome Ruin means if you take casualties from this, you take a morale check, and you have to roll, make a morale check during the assault phase. You must roll an extra D6 for that check. You keep the highest 2, so more likely to run. So that's him in general. He is a beat stick. So when you're thinking about fighting ability, he absolutely has that. That is his purpose. However, I think for me, if you're taking him, that's the reason that you're taking him. I don't think he
Mm,
does that much for the army overall. I'm
I mean,
not.
he does give them an 8-inch charge.
Well, he gives a unit, his
You,
unit,
you the
an eight
unit
inch
8-inch charge,
charge.
yeah.
So yes, your one unit that you take him with. So your Deathwing champions or something like that, some sort of champion style unit. He does really good for them. He gives them predictability. He gives them a once per game stasis grenade. He himself is a blender. So he buffs out that one spot, but he doesn't necessarily do that much army wide. That I think is sort of the big piece.
Yeah.
Like I
I'm
said,
going to be controversial with my rating, but I'm curious because you
okay.
explained them. I'm curious what
Yeah,
you're going to start
yeah,
with.
and I'll be honest, I haven't put him on the field because I haven't
Yeah.
put him together. He's a model I want to take a whole lot of time with. Just looking at one thing real fast.
I have
Yeah.
an opinion, and it's funny, and I'm going to wait to see what you say first.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I want to see what you say, and then I'm going to give him a rating because I got my rating written down. Like I'm
Yeah.
solid with my rating.
I think he's better with his sword rather than the one he took off of Russ when he punched him in the face.
I agree.
Like his warlord trait is nice, +1 leadership is nice, but that's not an end all be all. The other part of it, giving a crusade, is nice. It gives the army a certain type of buff, but when we compare it to some of these other guys, I don't think he buffs as much. I think he helps them quite a bit in terms of the unit you put him in. I think he's a big board presence because this is a guy that will cause you problems. However, when I think of the overall for the army, I don't think he does that much for the army overall. I think he helps the squad he's in. I think he helps everyone a bit. And I think he really tailors your list building. His warlord trait, if you're not taking things that want to get into combat, it's not helping you. Not really. He himself, his unit is very scary. But you need more than one scary thing running across the board, because otherwise every big gun I have will just train on it. And sooner or later, I'll be able to take it down or wound it enough. Primarchs in this edition are still very killable. They're tough, don't get me wrong, but they absolutely can be killed. So, for my initial thought of rating,
Do you want me to give mine first?
yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
B. And I'm going to say solid. There's a reason why.
I'll put
B
there
for
the
B.
beat
moment.
stick.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I was
And
thinking the
he's
same.
because, like, okay, he's not bad. B isn't bad,
No.
right? He's a great beat stick. He will literally beat up anything on even like against Horus. He's going to like if it was just Horus versus him, it's fine. But against pretty much anything that he's going to charge, he's going to wipe the floor with.
Yeah, Ferris Manus is the only
But
one he would struggle with because Ferris Manus can
yes,
get brutal. That's the
yes,
only reason why. It's because of the brutal.
but he does literally nothing else with the army. Like we'll see the other Primarchs that can do other things or can buff other ways the army other ways. He just does literally. I mean, he gives them what +1 leadership. Oh, whoop de do.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why I said he's a good. What's the not standalone baseline? He's a good baseline Primarch to start with because he does one job, he does it well, doesn't do anything else, and that's why I'm saying B. It's not bad. B's not bad. Take him, but he doesn't do anything for your army. Like you could remove B to me is you can remove him from the army and put 400 points in and still do the same job.
Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily feel bad about it.
Yeah,
You'll take him
exactly.
because you like him, and he will do good stuff for you. But you could find things to replace him with, and not be at a big detriment.
Exactly.
Steve,
That's what B is for me.
do you disagree with that, or were you thinking B for beat stick?
I was thinking B for beat stick.
Yeah.
So he's not. I'm not gonna say. Okay, so you're not getting a trick that's impossible to replicate with him, right? Like he just does his job. He cuts things up. Like when I think of something that like, wow, that's kind of insane. That's insane value. I think of like not a Primarch, but Karn, right? Because Karn says you don't get to react to his charge. That's an insane thing that breaks the standard pacing of the game. That's S tier material. He doesn't have a rule like that. Like stasis grenades are great, but they're not like game bending. They're just beneficial. So he's a B. He doesn't stand out
Yeah.
in any exceptional way. Although I will argue the Wolfblade might be the better pick.
Really?
Yes. Because he'll be at swinging at strength 9, so he's instant deathing anything that's not a custodian anyway.
Yeah, true.
And reaping blow means he's gonna get more swings in. If he's
But it's
hitting anything that's
AP3.
below it, it's breaching on a 4. If he's swinging on anything that's less than a Terminator, it's paced. And that reaping blow too is really easy to get when you have a Primarch space. Those things are
Counterpoint, instant death works against contemptors.
That was my thought.
Yeah.
That's
it
why I
does
like the other
D3
weapon.
wounds.
Yeah. So if in case you get charged by contemptors,
That wounds on a 4. Re-rolling, but it still wounds on a 4.
It's armor bane and
D3.
flesh bane.
yeah.
So it's re-roll. So it's wounding on a 2, re-rolling successes and re-rolling failures.
Yep.
I hate that.
Which means to me, just don't reroll.
Yeah, just don't reroll.
Yeah.
My die roll will
hate
always
that.
be my second die roll.
I hate that rules interaction
Yeah.
so much.
Honestly, yeah, it's just the only reason I don't say the Wolfblade is only because contemptors and leviathans exist. That's
Yeah.
the only reason.
I agree. The other
That's
thing
fair.
is, are some of the characters here can kind of do for cheaper some of those things, like, Ceradas, you don't get invul saves, or sorry, they're worse by 1 and stuff like that. There's other characters who can do kind of cool things as well. So I think B fits. You will never be sad if he is in your list, unlike some of these other ones. But if you don't have him, you're not detrimented. All right, that does the first Legion. All right, we are on to Fulgrim, and Dan is taking Fulgrim.
Sorry if I clear my throat. I'm going to try to mute myself every time I do. But
Hey.
so Fulgrim, honestly, very similar stats to Lion, and he's still got the weapon skill 8. He's lower strength, I believe.
Yes. His initiative is
Way
better. Is
higher
the big
initiative.
thing.
Yeah, initiative 8, which I think is the highest.
Yes, no one gets higher
Out
than
of the
that.
Primarchs. Which is funny
That's
because
not true.
he's actually initiative 9.
Who's better?
Who's better?
Wasn't there a competition between Fulgrim and I think it was the Khan who was fastest?
They
Initiative?
That's right. Do they both have
it,
seven-
it's
Oh,
related to
There
who
was
charges.
Yeah.
Someone was up there when it came to the charges.
Yeah.
Charges
Alright,
versus
so-
challenge, I think, was the coin flip.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll go over the war gear later because that's all part of the special rules. But
Yeah.
special rules, he does have bulky 6 like every Primarch, or almost every Primarch.
No,
Sudden Strike
no,
1.
No.
He's
are the
extra
Primarch-
bulky.
Yeah, he's
He's
bigger.
extra bulk. Oh, by the way, I think Demon Fulgrim's not bulky. I think they forgot that. I'm trying to remember if there was a funny joke with that. But
So he ain't going
Sudden
into
Strike-
transport anyway.
Yeah, Sudden Strike 1, so he does go to initiative 9 charge. It's something I don't even know what he's striking at that point. Crusader, Tactical Excellence, which we'll talk about later, Sublime Swordsman, all that stuff. So let's go on his Warlord trait. Let's see if he buffs anything or if he buffs himself. So Warlord trait, basically anyone that can draw lines of sight to him can use his leadership characteristic of 10, which is actually better than I think +1 leadership.
Yes, in general it
You
is.
can go to leadership 11, but not
You
less
don't
than
have
leadership
much
10,
10
so-
though.
Exactly.
We're Space Marines, so
this is
10's
what-
very, very rare.
And then also, if he's on the battlefield, you get +1 to wound when you calculate who won the combat. Okay, nice. And you get an extra reaction in the.
On
Sorry,
him.
the first reaction.
Yeah.
The first reaction made in each game turn does not use up that control player's reaction allotment. So if you don't use a movement,
his
you can use
unit.
shooting.
For him. It's on his unit.
For him
On
specifically.
his unit.
Yes.
His unit. Okay. Still good. Still good. All right, so let's talk about his special rules and stuff. The Guild of Panoplies is armor. I like it a lot. It's 2 up, 3 up in melee, or 2 up, 4 up for literally anything else. So he wants to be in melee because 2 up, 3 up is insanity. Sublime Swordsman. So if he's in a challenge, he gains. I remember this one. He gains the number of attacks additional equal to the amount which his initiative characteristic is greater than his opponent. So, for example, if he's fighting a model with initiative characteristic 5 and he's got initiative 8, this grants him 3 extra attacks.
Yeah.
Stupid question. Initiative characteristic. I can't remember if we said this or not. If he charges, does that become initiative 9? And so he gets essentially an extra attack? I think so, right?
No, because charging lets you swing at one higher initiative value according to the
No,
Legion
sudden
rule.
strike. Sudden strike. He's got sudden,
Sudden
strike.
strike?
So I always forgot. I can't remember if we remember. I don't even know if we talked about this because it says initiative characteristic, and I can't remember if that was just the unmodified initiative characteristic or if it goes up by +1. Does that mean he's now 9, and therefore you get like an extra attack out of it. Doesn't matter. He gets attacks for how high his initiative is. Tactical excellence. So once per battle, you may declare the use of this rule. Basically, for the duration of that phase, any enemy units that attempt to declare a reaction against a move, shooting attack, or charge made by Fulgrim or the unit joins must first pass a leadership test. They can use the highest, obviously, unless the unit is making the reaction includes at least one model with the Primarch unit type, in which case you may declare reactions as normal. So they have to pass a leadership to once per phase to react against them, essentially. Then he's got 2 weapons he can choose from, the Blade of Lair or the Fire Blade. The Blade of Lair was the one we were kind of unimpressed with. It was Strength User, so Strength 6, AP 2. Duelist's Edge, which I believe is another weapon skill or another initiative. I know Seven Strikes
initiative.
Duelist Edge is another initiative. Oh,
he
But
goes
only in the
first.
challenge.
Yeah, in challenges.
Yeah, so he's going. No, but it also then it begs the question: does that mean also he gets an extra attack because of the Sublime Swordsman? But whatever.
I don't believe it changes the characteristic.
That's the thing. I don't think it does, but it doesn't say unmodified characteristic, which annoys me. Whatever. It's Fleshbane, so you're always wounded on 2s, mastercrafted, specialist weapon. It cuts through people. Fireblade, though, I think we liked more because it was +1 strength AP2, so strength 7. So you're still probably wounding on 2s, unless it's a contemptor. Murder strike 5 up, still mastercrafted. I think we still like the Fireblade more. And he's got a pistol. Who cares? 15 strength 6 AP4, pistol 2 deflagrate shred mastercrafted.
All right.
So his big thing, like very much like the Lion, it seems like he does something very well, and that's get into combat and blend. Which isn't true for all of them, but it's funny that we had 2 back-to-back. I do like the fact that he does give everyone leadership 10 line of sight. I think that's better than the Lion, in my opinion.
Yes.
I do like the fact that he gets us more attacks, essentially, based on higher initiative, because very rare things are initiative 5. Well, no, it's in a challenge, so lies. Most things are initiative 5 in a challenge. So yeah, if I and again the once per phase not being able to declare a reaction, I remember that was we loved it in Karn, and I think the once per phase not being able to react against this dude is amazing. You know, you want to do the now I got to read something real quick. Do Emperor's Children get affected by being hold the line? Hold on, give me 1 second. Just scrolling up real quick.
Affected by hold
They
the line.
still get their bonus initiative even if you hold the line.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
Even if they're disordered,
because it's whether or not it's disordered. Yeah.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, just wanted to check. Okay, so I was just checking just in case. Where would I put him? He's either going to be poor Lion. He's either going to be very high B or very low A for me.
So you think he's better?
Yes. He's not as insanely killy in melee as the Lion. He's slightly more survivable because he's got a 2-up, 3-up, which is hilarious. Actually, I wouldn't even argue that he's not against contemptors. He's not killing, but against just normal dudes, I think he's just killing.
Yes, although Primarch should hopefully kill regular people.
Yeah. I'd say he's better than the Lion. Where he's going to be placed is going to be hard for me. He's either going to be low A or exceptionally high B. And honestly, for the leadership 10, that's what it's going to be. Leadership 10 on an entire army who could see him, which is going to be most people, is insane.
You know, they get it for their morale and pinning tests is what they would get it for. Steve, what are you thinking? Do you liking this guy more?
So, yeah. Yes.
It's such a question.
You don't sound like you even believe it.
Yeah,
he's better. I just don't know if it bumps him up a letter or not. Because the reaction thing is exceptionally strong, but he's not hitting things quite as hard.
No.
And it's almost a good trade-off, except the unit he's with is also getting benefited by the reaction thing. But then it's just the leadership check on it.
And the thing is, because it's going to be leadership. Probably you're charging something that's going to be leadership 10 or 9 anyway.
I'm also
Primarchs naturally cause fear.
Range.
Primarchs don't naturally cause fear, do they?
No.
No, right? Okay. I'll say high B.
I
I'll solidify it. I'll say high B.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him in A, at least not for the moment. And maybe when we see some more, we'll adjust some people because that always happens. When we see more, people get
Yeah,
adjusted around.
we readjust.
But the reason I wouldn't necessarily put him higher than that, at least for the moment, is I don't think he's as fighting. I do think what he does for the army is a bit stronger. Like I said, leadership 10 for morale purposes is great for everyone. Him getting the extra action is nice, but it is him. And I do think he can fight very well. He fights most people first and will defeat a lot of things he wants. But he's not necessarily fighting things quite as hard. He will win that fight because he swings before you against a tough opponent, not because he's necessarily better than them. Like stats wise, it's pretty good. But Murder Strike on a 5-up, when you're talking about one of these guys was AP2, all good. So I would put him at B. I would hazard he could go to A, but I want to see a little bit more, and we want to see where some of these other people fall. So I'm okay with B for the moment, if you guys are. All right, I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah.
All right, you don't sound happy about that choice at all.
It's just I don't know what to do with this guy.
Well,
besides smash his face into a toy Clockwork Warhound, I don't know what to do about this guy.
we always reserve, of course, the right to be able to shift them around. Like I said, when we see a few more people, we might. But
honestly, that's why I said it's high B for me. I don't think it's A. I'll retract that, but definitely better than Lion.
I mean, someone's
definitely better than Lion.
All right, and we are now on to the next Legion. We're on to the fourth here, and that is for Steve to tell us why Perturabo is the favorite son.
Favorite's not the right word, but he's definitely the one who should have been the favorite son. So first of all, he's a master of the Iron Warriors. Second, he's the Lord of Iron. He's the Breaker. He is the Hammer of Olympia. He is the guy who solos Demon Primarchs before it was cool. So Perturabo, same basic idea for Stallion, except he's better at the shooting thing. He's actually Ballistic Skill 7, so he wraps around the chart, and he's re-rolling on 5s for anything he misses with. So, really good shooting, which is weird, because his weapon's twin-linked. He's a little slower than the others at only movement 7. That's good at the melee combat with a moderate weapon skill of 7. And he's definitely the slowest Primarch we've seen so far, only initiative 5. But he doesn't pull his punches. Where were we? He has a weapon choice, which actually does cost points. The first time we've had a swap that costs points.
Yeah.
He may just pick up Forge Breaker Desecrated, which is Ferrus Manus' hammer, gifted to him after Fulgrim lifted Ferrus of his head. His Warlord trait is going to give all of the Iron Warriors half of their trait back from last edition, or sort of. They're going to roll an extra die for morale and pinning checks and discard the highest result before checking the result. And you get an extra shooting phase reaction because, of course, it would be a shooting phase reaction.
And that sire is when they're caused by shooting attacks. So that morale and pinning is not all the time.
True.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not all the time.
It's not as good as immunity that we had in 1.0, but it's still a pretty solid buff.
Not bad.
Because if we're in close combat, then we didn't shell you hard enough. So for his armor, he gets a 2-up armor and a 3-up invul, and you ignore all effects of night fighting, which is not the same as having night vision.
Yeah.
Just to make that clear. Because night vision takes away shrouded saves. Ignoring the effects of night fighting does not ignore shrouded.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he intercepts, he does it for free because he basically has all that equipment built into his armor. He gets to punch things really good. He gets +1 strength, AP2 on his melee attacks because he has big meaty hands. And built into his suit is also a ranged attack, which is basically a little mini autocannon array. Range 30, strength 6, AP 3, assault 6, twin linked, shred, pinning, and shell shock. He definitely leans into the Legion philosophy of big guns.
Yeah.
And finally, if he picks up his Fallen Brother's hammer, He will be swinging with Strength 12, AP 1 in melee, but unfortunately, he will be swinging at Initiative 1 because it is unwieldy. Although being Mastercrafted, Extra Shock 3 up, and Brutal 2, it will dish out quite a bit of damage. And since you don't give up your Logos Array this edition,
No, you
you can
don't.
always choose to punch someone in the face instead of using the hammer as tactical needs dictate.
Yeah. Keep in mind, he's Battlesmith 2 with Fire and Protocols 2, so he's also repairing your stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He is fixing stuff. He could join any Mechanicum robot unit because he has
I was
Master
gonna
of
say Master of
Automata.
Automata. Yep.
Yep. He has a Cortex controller, so you can control the robots too if you're running a robot heavy army. And he has a few special units he gets that are attached to him. He has his personal storm sword, the Tormentor. He has two different special bodyguard units, either the Dominators or the Iron Circle Automata. So he definitely brings various toys to the table. And if you bring the special units that are associated with him, they gain special rules. So his bodyguards get Feeling Pain 6 up. And if it's the little Terminator guys, and if it's the big robots, they get Feel No Pain 5 up.
Yeah.
So it becomes a very, very durable little block you've got going on there. He shoots, he punches, he doesn't do the logistical thing he used to do. So,
I mean, listen, he still ignores all effects of night fighting, right? Or if they make an interceptor reaction, it doesn't count towards the reaction allotment, so it's a free interceptor. So I mean, you stick him with a unit of missile launcher dudes. Oh crap! Who are your missile
Siege
launcher
Tyrants.
dudes called?
Siege
Siege Tyrants.
Tyrants.
That's
There you go.
a scary, scary thing that all of a sudden they can do a react. They can intercept without using the intercept allotment.
Yep.
I like that a lot.
I'm surprised Steve doesn't immediately put this guy above the other two, because for what he
I
does,
put
I
him in
do.
A.
He
I put him in
is,
A.
but not for the reasons you two might be thinking of. It has to do with the Primarch special rule.
Okay.
Primarchs allocate all their melee and shooting attacks,
Yes, they do.
which means this guy from 30 inches across the board is picking out those models with 3-up saves in a unit that he doesn't want you to have. So he goes pop,
Very
pop,
true.
pop. He's got 6 dice hitting on 2, so he's going to hit. Strength 6. He's probably wounding on 2s. It's pinning. So what he's going to do is he's going to take out your unit's Vexilla, their Nuncio Vox, their Apothecaries if you didn't take the Artificer armor on them. And then he's going to dump the saves on the Sergeant. He's going to pin your unit, which then enables everything else in his army to take that unit apart.
Yep.
And he'll be in something that's exceptionally durable, such as a Terminator squad that kind of dropped the ball and failed him, or in a robot squad. So the unit initiative will be toughness 7, which is something that the other Primarchs don't get to say.
Yeah.
So your return fire will be a lot less effective than it would be against other Primarchs with their retinues. This guy can walk across the table and punch you in the face, where others would be sitting in a Spartan. Or if he's in a Spartan, you take a wound off, that's fine. He'll fix it on a 2-up. So yes, he is a lister material. I'm not
Yep,
going to say
he's a
he's
solid
S
A.
tier. He does not break the game, but he is definitely something that adds value to your list.
And one of the thoughts we have to have at some point, S might not necessarily be breaking the game even.
No,
It could just be they're
actually,
super good, because I think he might actually
allow
go
me
there.
to make S. Allow me to make S tier argumentation here.
Okay.
Please take the floor.
So I didn't even think about the 30-inch pop, pop, pop nonsense. That's really good. So putting that aside, I didn't even think about that. Because he's literally, he's a sniper, essentially.
Yeah.
Putting that aside, well, also, side fact, why does he have fighting protocols too? Am I stupid?
Okay,
Does he
so
have another-
they
he have
got
another
rid of
gun?
it in an FAQ. They
Yeah.
got rid of it. So
Okay.
lore-wise, it's 2 arms shooting, and rules-wise, they made it twin-linked. It's probably a holdover
sense.
from an earlier revision where
Got
he
it,
would
okay.
have 2 separate arms.
Got it. I was losing my mind over here. All right, so ignoring the 30-inch thing, not ignoring it, but putting that aside, his Forge Breaker, first of all, you take because it gives you options and it's 35 points. Forge Breaker is absolutely insane. You are basically instant deathing anything in the game. And if you're going against contemptors, sure, you're not instant deathing them, but it's brutal too. Um, and even if it's Imperial Knights, let's say you're going, he's right now so far the only Primarch with Strength 12. So even if he's going against Imperial Knights, he's
He's
automatically
going
penetrating
golfing.
them. He's oh no, he's
Yeah.
not automatically. On a one, he glances. He's almost automatically penetrating them. And then with Exo Shock 3 up, he's penning them again. So he's basically one-shotting knights off the board
There's a reason
before they
his
swing.
display base is a knight.
Yes, before they swing, I want to point out. So here is your first Primarch that can handedly deal with a knight charging in.
It wouldn't be before they swing because
Yes, they do.
he would be
Oh, initiative
unwieldy.
one. That's right. He's initiative.
Remember,
yes.
when Ferris Manus has it, it's not initiative 1.
It's not
With
initiative.
him, it is. Yeah.
So okay. So the knight is still swinging, but he will one shot the knight off the board. Very very quick math. He's got what? 6 attacks of weapons. So he's hitting on 3s with 6 attacks. Let's say the knight charges him. Make it easy. 6 attacks. You get 4 hits.
Yep.
Right. You get essentially 4 penetrations. It's like 3.7 something. I want to say 4 penetrations. And then on a 3 up, you get more penetrations. So that's another 2. Let's say.
Yeah. Average probably about.
But here's the fun part. You still have to roll the AP. So on a 5 or 6, it's an extra D3 penetrations or an extra D3 hull points. So you're doing 6 hull points. So 6, and then
D3
2 of those are going to do another additional D3. That's legitimate insanity. That's literally 6 plus 2D3 on average. 6
D3?
plus 2D3. No, 2D3 because it's
I thought
4.
no, I thought it was just a flat +1 hit on a 3 up.
No, well, the Exoshock does a pen and you still roll on the table.
Oh,
he
you mean
in
in
terms
terms
of
of
explodes
Yeah.
result?
Yes, he did
Yeah,
four hull
he's
points.
putting both together.
I'm putting
I
both of them
wasn't-
together
I wasn't
exactly.
thinking in terms of
So that's
super heavy damage
six.
table.
That's 6
Okay,
hull
'cause it-
points with the Exoshock, and out of those 6, that's another. That's possible. 2 out of the 6 are D3. So that's 6 plus 2 D3 hull points. That is literal insanity.
Yeah.
And then he's got a 2 up 3 up, which is the best save in the game. There's no 2 up 2 up.
counterpoint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Imperial Knights suck.
Yes,
But it is still a thing. Yeah.
but it is still a thing.
No. That's just me digging at my fellow Iron Warriors player who loves Imperial Knights a little too much.
Knight charges Fulgrim Squad. That knight's going to carve through the knights and then Terminators, and then stomp on said Terminators. Because remember, they still get the stomps at AP2. Strength 8. So
Oh,
they're going to
believe
instant
me,
death.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
This
have
guy just goes,
played against
"Oh, you
plenty.
killed my Terminator," knocks him. So that's my only argument for S tier, that he basically not only shoots better than all the other ones we got so far, he melees better than all the other ones we got so far, and he gives he does this buffing where they don't get the interceptor allotment, right? He's 2 up, 3 up, and he can repair on a 2 up.
I could tell you the one thing holding this guy back. As of the FAQs, retinues count as your Lord of War points.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
If they didn't, he would be off the
That's right
fucking
about that.
charts.
Yeah.
I actually forgot about that.
Because his bodyguards are insane. Like
Yeah.
Dominators are solid. They're not insane, they're solid. But the Iron Circle with him is
Would be
just
insane.
an unmovable
But ignoring
object. 'Cause
retinues,
not only
'cause
are
I
they feeling
didn't
no
count-
pain, he's fixing them on a 2-1.
Oh, that's true. He is fixing the dot.
Yes.
But ignoring retinues, because we ignored retinues for the other ones, I think he's S tier. I'd give him S.
No, I don't think you have to ignore retinues because the other ones, their
Yeah.
retinues are, don't get me wrong, they're good models, but they're Marines.
Yes.
His retinue is kind of a very different thing, so I do think it needs
Yes.
to be
Retinues.
considered
That
separately.
if you want to,
It's-
because he repairs them on
Toughness
2 up.
7 and he heals it. Toughness
And
7.
he heals them.
If it's taken as a retinue, they're feel no pain 5 up. Feel no pain 5 up on toughness 7 is insane.
And a 3 up,
Yeah.
4 up, and 3 up save and a 4 up invulnerable.
Yeah.
It's-
No,
so I'll see where it is. I'd say S tier. I'd give him
I
S tier.
put him up there
I'd
as
argue.
well because to me, he both does a good bit in combat. There's some ways he outclasses the other in combat, in some ways he doesn't, because he doesn't outclass him in every way. But he does a lot for the army. He has very good options of who he goes with. He gets a lot of things. He checks a lot of those boxes that the other two haven't fully checked yet. I feel this guy coming out of your army, you are going to feel a loss.
Yes.
You're going to have to put in like 600 points to make up for what he feels like he does for you. And he's also, not to get so much into points, but points-wise, he's a bit cheaper. So taking his upgrade puts him on par with most of the other Primarchs. So it's not like you're so much more expensive for taking the weapon. You're about the same cost taking the weapon. So for the moment, at least, I think absolutely yes. This guy's really, really good for what he does for them. All right. We are back then. We are now onto the 5th Legion, which onto the White Scars, which keep in mind for the White Scars, everything they have to do is the fact that they just move faster, move better, they faster than you. So that's all the rules. We're looking at Jadatai Khan. So for Khan, he has 2 different types of profiles here. The big thing is he can get on a jet bike. He isn't modeled with one. You can't find a model of him with one, but he can get on a jet bike. He is the fastest on foot, because he's 9-inch move that way, or 18 of his on his jet bike. And it does mention that the White Scars bonus of +1 on the moves are included in this. He's a lot of 6s with his 7 weapons skill. He gets an extra wound when he gets on that jet bike. He is initiative 8, so he starts as good as Fulgrim, but Fulgrim has tons of ways to get higher in general. He's on his 6 attacks and all of that. So for things that he gets, he has hit and run. He has Crusader, which we talked about with those duns. He has his Pathfinder. He gets move through cover. And for 25 points, you can put him on his Void Bike. We'll talk about what that does for him in a moment. So, if he is your warlord, so if he's in your army, he's your warlord. If he's your warlord, all infantry and cavalry that are White Scars in his army, including himself, get Furious Charge 1 when they move. So you have to have moved that turn, but if you did, you get Furious Charge 1. So you'll get to be able to go a little bit faster. And you get an extra movement phase reaction. That's not surprising. Not as happy with that one, but not surprising. And
Furious
they're special.
Charge is +1 strength.
Oh, sorry,
Furious
+1 strength. My
+1
apologies. Yeah, +1 strength.
Have you been playing like 4th and 5th edition lately?
No, of all kinds of stuff.
Because it hasn't been initiative in a very long time.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other one. We just went through the other ones that were, but hey, that's even better.
That's fair.
Extra strength is good. Yeah, too many special rules. It takes a bit to get all these, because I don't have special rules like that. My armies don't get those. For his saves, he's got a 2-up armor, 4-up invul in shooting phase, and a 3-up invul during movement and assault phase. So not when in close combat, in the assault phase. So even when they're charging in, he gets that 3-up. Lightning from Blue Skies, this just means that if you hold him in reserves, he comes in when you feel like it. And if you do it as a flanking assault, the flanking assault comes in when you feel like it. Doesn't work for the other ones. He can't do a deep strike assault with this, or drop pod assault, or subterranean with these special rules. Storm's Voice. So this is his shooting weapon, strength 6, AP 4. It's a 2-shot pistol, Rends on a 5, Deflagrate, Concussive 1, Mastercrafted. No, that's not a determining factor.
It's okay. It's not great, but it's okay.
It's fine, but like that, you're not worried about if this guy shoots. There's times you won't shoot it because you don't want the reaction back into you. His White Tiger Dao, it's +1 strength, which if he charges, he has the extra strength as well. Anyway, AP 2, Duelist Edge 1, so yeah, there he's hitting faster. He has Furious Charge 2 on it, Murder Strike 5-up, and it's Mastercrafted. So a decent weapon, not amazing. When we're talking about Primarchs, a good weapon, but not absolutely insane. And if you put him on a bike, then he gets 2 Mastercrafted Heavy Bolters. He gets Hammer Wrath 2, Firing Protocols 3. He gets the Anti-Grav subtype. He falls back 3d6 instead of 2d6 because he's on a bike. And when he's on this Shijutsu pattern Void Bike, he may join units that are cavalry despite the usual restrictions. And any rules that target the cav unit are considered to affect him as well. So he's not cavalry type, but he may join cavalry and pretends like he's cavalry in every way. I'm rather ho-hum on him, and maybe that's because he doesn't fit the type of playstyles that I enjoy. He is... Okay, so when we look at things that he does, in combat-wise, no Primarch is awful in combat. Not even the ones that are not good in combat are not
Logar
awful.
would like...
But overall, it's not as bad. Yes. And the big thing is like, okay, when you're going against Primarch v Primarch, but that's a different story. I'm not so worried about Primarch v Primarch with this. Yeah, this guy ain't going to win versus the ones we've talked about so far realistically. And that's okay. I think he fights okay. I'm not thrilled with some of the things he has. I think he's a lot better in terms of those hit and run tactics, which fit White Scars very perfectly. The fact he has hit and run or Crusader, all of that, I think it fits with that very well. I do like the option he can go onto a bike. So this is the first Primarch that can join a different style of unit. We know Perturabo can, join some big mech type boys. But you can greatly change his style and essentially join fast-moving cav instead of slower-moving infantry. His Warlord trait, I think, is nice for the army. This is an army that probably does want to be charging, has a lot of options to charge, but then you're going to be making sure that you do with getting that Furious Charge. You did have to move. Okay, that's fine. Good, not amazing. Being able to put your reserves in when you want, that's a great strength for this army, because it's an army that might be using those reserves. It's an army that wants to be, say, flanking, and you can just bring the whole flanking force in on whatever turn you feel like, so you can delay them a little bit if you need to. His shooting attack, who cares? Okay, what's going to happen sooner or later is different people got to fill in these spots. Not everyone can sit in one spot. And currently, I'm having a hard time. I don't believe he's any better than B for what he does.
No, let's say B. I'm sitting with B as well. I'm not going to give him C because the only reason this is, and I think you glossed over his Warlord trait, and this is the only reason I'm actually giving him B. One, Furious Charge to everyone is Furious Charge to everyone. That's +1 strength across the board when you charge.
Yeah.
And just like you said, White Scars want to charge, and they pretty much can charge whatever the hell they want. Between their advanced reaction, which if you're, it's really annoying to play against, right? Yep. And he also gives them an extra movement phase reaction. So they're literally moving when they want, how they want. When they charge, that +1 strength across the board means that most of your army is striking at strength 5 with chain swords, right? Rerolling. So that's 3s rerolling versus, let's say, someone else who's doing 4s rerolling. So that
Furious
does
Charge.
the favor.
Furious Charge says when you charge, right?
Yes, it is when you charge.
Okay, just making sure.
No, it is when you charge. So, they're armed with chain swords. So, that 3s rerolling is nothing to sniff at. So, Furious Charge, in my opinion, is not bad. He's going to kill in melee. So, we learn that. But the other thing he does, too, is that 2 movement phase reactions. So, technically, because I'm not sure, your advanced reaction doesn't count as a reaction.
No, it's a type of, yes.
That's for the phase.
It's a reaction of the phase. And their reaction is a movement phase reaction. Yes.
All right,
I'd like to point out real quick, talk about reactions. In Zone Mortalis, movement phase is when you do the shooting.
Yes. Zone Mortalis is all backwards.
Yes, and then Zone Mortalis, that's really good in Zone Mortalis. But point is, he plays his army very well, which is why I want to give him the B. His Warlord trait makes his army, it's the most expensive army because you want all bikes, right?
Yep.
But if you have all bikes and you take them, it buffs the army by giving them Furious Charge and giving them that extra movement phase reaction on the normal. And then he does kill. Remember, he's Furious Charge 2, right? Does that? Yeah. No, it doesn't stack. So he's Furious Charge 2, and it's what, +1? So it's technically +3. So he's hitting at strength 9 on the charge with AP 2, and initiative 9. So,
well, the duelist edge if he's in a challenge, he may not be in a challenge.
If he's challenge. So yeah, no, I would say B. I give him a B. Is he better than the Lion? No. Is he worse than the Lion? Yeah. But he does he does buff. It's not that he's useless.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Steve.
With the hit and run, though, he is getting the most value out of his charging bonuses.
Yes. At least he has the option to, yeah.
Yeah. Hit and run is a huge deal here because it stops him from getting tied down in those fights he doesn't want to be in.
That's true, because there's fights he doesn't want. He doesn't want to go against Contemptors, necessarily. He doesn't want to go against or Leviathans. Or maybe he might not even want to go against certain other Primarchs. So the ability to kind of ditch if it's not going your way is very useful.
Let me just check. Legion, the Legion trait doesn't give that, right?
No, not naturally.
Run, no. It's the bike
Okay,
that gives
and
it. It's the unit.
Yeah,
Bikes
Does
get
hit and run confer to units? Is the follow-up question.
ooh, that's a good
Um,
question. I don't know. Don't guess.
that I
I
Look.
don't know.
want to say it doesn't, but I shall check because I don't like giving bad advice on the internet. Because you give
No.
it once, and then everyone's like, "Oh yeah, this one guy on this podcast said that I could hit and run," and they're going to cite me, and then I'm going to lose all credibility on the street. No one will ever ask me again.
On the
Okay,
Harris
hit and run
streets, man.
does confer.
Does confer? Okay,
Ooh,
good.
A unit that contains at least one model with this rule without combat and can choose to leave at the end of any assault phase.
All right, good.
So you
Good to
charge
check
into
that.
something meaty, sit it through their turn, bounce in your own turn.
so when you stick it with a unit of cataphracti, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Although he's
Hit
not
and
getting
run
nearly as far.
cataphracti.
You're giving up speed.
No, very true. But hit and run cataphract, or let's see, assault marines. And point is, it can be useful.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you're taking him, you have Keshik and stuff like that. That's probably where you're looking. I'm fine at B, at least for now. Again, we might shift some people because people got to fill in these spots. But I'm okay overall with B. I'm a little more lackluster on him, but I do kind of think part of that is because I'm not as into the style of what they do. But I do see how he can be very useful for what they want to do. So I'm fine with B. I could see him shifting a little bit either way, but it's a good starting point at least. All right. We are moving away from the White Scars. We're moving to Wolves in Space. Tell us about Lehman Russ.
The Space Wolf himself, Lehman Russ. So again, still weapon skill 8, which is high for the Primarchs.
Mm-hmm.
See here, toughness is a little.
His strength is better.
7, or strength is 7. Sorry,
Strength
wow,
7.
I'm wasted. Strength 7 is a little better. Initiative 7, so he's a little tiny bit slower. 7 attacks though, so he's got high attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's got a little bit of. All right. He has skirmish, which is nice. That's +1 cover save right there, and 3-inch coherency. For special rules, he's Howl of the Death Wolf, which we'll talk about later. Counterattack 2. So if he gets charged, which is very funny, if he charges, it's +1 attack. But if you get charged, it's 9 attacks.
Yeah.
So let's talk about his Warlord trait. Warlord trait's very interesting. Basically, all the Space Wolves get +1 strength for the duration of turn in which the unit successfully charges, and they make an additional reaction to the opposing player's assault phase, essentially. So this is a better what. So automatically, that's already a better COD. It's not Furious Charge. It's just no way. Actually, wait. It's the same thing. +1 strength on the unit with a successfully
But it will
charge.
stack.
Yeah, it would
Oh, but
stack
if
if
you
you
had-
had Furious Charge.
If you had
There it
would
is.
stack.
Yes.
My head broke for a second. I was like, wait,
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
that's the
All right,
reason
so it does-
why, because they can
it's
get
a
some of their
stackable
units have
+1
that.
charge. So that's already better. Howl of the Death Wolf. So this only happens once per battle. Basically, you howl, and for the duration of that player turn only. Pardon me. All friendly models basically gain a bonus of +1 to their movement characteristic, and any enemy units that include one or more models with the Space Wolf rule must take an. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
Any enemy units that have the one or more Space Wolf rule take an immediate pinning check. Basically, if he's facing whatchamacallits,
Deserters and traitors.
deserters, they get scared.
Yeah.
+1 movement is massive.
Keep in mind, these
Because
guys run in charge.
Not only that. Now your Space Marines, who were moving 7, are moving 8, meaning they get +1 to charge now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big shift in the can I charge. So that in and of itself is already making me very happy. Just for even normal Marines, it basically means they get +1 to charge. It's for the whole player turn, right? Oh yeah, so you do it at the beginning and they move 8, and now they still have +1 to charge. Yeah, that's amazing.
It's not the phase; it's the turn.
Well, that's great. That's absolutely amazing. Even better than Warlord trait. He's got a 2-up 4-up invulnerable, which again gets increased to 3-up against Flame, Melt, and Plasma. So in case someone hits you with Plasma or Melta, maybe you tank on him a little bit. But the big thing with him, and this is also pretty big, is that any enemy models in base contact with Lehman Russ suffer a -1 to hit him in assault. So to a maximum of 6 up, any turn which Lehman Russ makes a successful charge. So if he charges and you're trying to hit him, it's -1 to hit. So most likely you're hitting this dude on 6s, which is ugh. He's got the Sword of Bale Knight. Wait, was he able to? Did I skip that? Oh no, he's got both. Okay,
He has both weapons. Yes.
got it. Okay. Anytime there's 2 weapons, I'm always like, oh crap, did I skip?
No.
Sword of Bale Knight. So he's got it so he can swing with a sword. So sword is +1 strength, AP 2, murder strike 4 up, brutal 2, fearsome ruin, which I believe is the same as the other one. Where
That's the same one, yeah.
And mastercrafted. So he's swinging at strength 8, brutal 2, initiative 7, murder strike 4 up. I guess in case you want to kill something real good. That's already disgustingly ow. But just in case, let's say you want to go even higher, you have the Axe of Hellwinter, which is +2 strength. So now you're swinging at strength 9, AP2, Sunder, Reaping Blow, Mastercrafted. Not entirely sure why you would swing the Axe. Maybe the Sunder effect dreadnoughts, it doesn't.
The brutal would be better versus that. Sunder would be better versus vehicles.
Just for tanks.
Yeah, it's tank based.
For killing tanks, and I guess for killing militia.
Yeah, in case I guess Reaping Blow, you get 1 extra attack. He's also got a pistol. It's AP3, 12 inches, so there's your kind of shoot people. It is writing 6 up, so it's assault 3, so he can run and shoot it, which is great. Honestly, this guy's solid A for me. I'm not going to argue S. Oh, you know what? Nah.
I put him in A for the moment.
I'm going to put him in A, but I'm probably going to talk myself up to S, and there's 2 reasons why. But I'm going to work my way bottom to top this time. Bottom to top. So he's got a good pistol. It actually is shootable. Not that you really... It is assault, so in case you want to run and charge with this unit, you can. He's got an axe for anti-tank-ish. So let's say he faces an Imperial Knight.
No, he's... just go to a tank. Don't put him at a knight.
No.
Against a tank, Sunder on that strength is good.
Shit about a tank. A knight for me is like the scary thing. That's why.
Okay.
So knight's 13 anyway, Dave. So it's honestly like there's your average tank, like 12 to 13.
So he's looking for 3s. Well, remember, because he also has his warlord trait.
Oh, that's right. So he is looking for 3s re-rolling.
Yes.
Okay. So he is pretty good at anti-tank. He's got an amazing sword for just killing anything else that's infantry. 2 up, 4 up, but that -1 to hit him in combat is beautiful. But the big reason why he's at top of A for me already.
Okay.
But what might push him into S is the fact that one, he gives +1 strength on charge, right? You get an extra assault phase reaction. Now this is big for me only because he's got counterattack. So you can technically hold the line with 2 units, which is really, really good. Because denying charge bonuses to certain units or certain armies is massive, right? Like some people don't even get their strength bonuses, or sometimes they don't get weapon special rolls if they don't get a successful charge. But that Howl of the Death Wolf is fantastic. +1 move sounds so stupid until you realize most of your army is move 7. So now being move 8 and now getting basic, it's not just +1 move, it's +1 move and now almost +1 charge across the army. Because how fast do Tartaros move? They're 7 as well, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes, they are.
So really
and they will start a charge.
Yeah, so honestly, the only thing that doesn't get affected are cataphracti, which are heavy anyway. That's top freaking notch. And dreadnoughts, 8 to 9 doesn't matter. Does 12 to 13 matter for assault marines? I'm just thinking if assault marines also get
pretty sure it's 14.
It's 14. Okay,
I believe
that's fine.
It's
That's
14,
fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. But point is, a majority of your army not only just get +1 move, they get +1 charge. That's why I might just put this dude in S. He beats up the enemy well. You can't really touch him because he's -1 to hit on his charge. And he's already weapon skill, 8? So you're hitting him on 6s, essentially. You're hitting him on 6s. So you're not touching him. He does shoot and run. That goes into his army very well. So you could run him, shoot some, I don't know, banner bearers or whatever. And both his melee weapons can handle things. He's either going to be top of A for me or very bottom of S.
Steve, what do you think?
I concur. Yeah, no, it's on that borderline. His bodyguard won't match Perturabo's, but he will himself beat the shit out of Perturabo because of that weapon skill difference. And that's a big deal too, because the weapon skill chart is a huge swing this edition.
Absolutely, it is. Um,
I know you mentioned no Primarch against no Primarch.
well,
Try to ignore Primarch against
well,
Primarch.
the thing is,
But
you can always do that, but I don't want that
yeah,
to be that. I'll
the
put it this way,
main
if
reason.
we don't know, if
Yeah,
we're sitting so much on the fence, that can help determine. Yes, but I don't want
yeah.
it to be like, oh, this Primer beats up that one. That's why he's the greatest
Because
ever.
that's also the
Huh.
fence for me. That's the S tier. That you throw a Primarch against this dude, mm-mm. They're not surviving.
I
But
don't know
anyway,
about
continue to
that.
lose. Unless it's brutal 2. He's hitting you mostly on 3s. You're hitting
Yeah, I
him on
guess it's the
6s.
brutal is the big thing.
Yeah,
Well, no,
and
no.
you're
If
hitting
you're a
him on 6s.
Primarch, you're hitting him probably actually depending on the Primarch fives.
No, because not all Primarchs are weapon skill 8.
I
There's
know,
only
I know,
3
but
of them, I
oh,
think.
so
Yeah,
some of them would be sixes, but some the better ones,
yeah,
because you're not throwing one of the
true.
lesser ones at him if you're saying
True,
like he's
true.
going to beat him up.
But even still, hit him on 5s?
Yeah, fives instead would be big. To me, it's probably the brutal 2 that does it more than the other
Yeah.
bits. I think that's probably the biggest piece to it. So, are we? I guess we're going to put him at A for the moment, but he has an option to move
I
up
would
to
say
S.
S. I'm
You
going
want
to
to
put him
him
in
in
S.
S?
I would put him in S. And honestly, it's the Primarch part that kills me because all of what I said is good, and then that last bubble of like, why would I kick him up is if you throw Primarch against him, he's probably going to wipe the floor with them, unless it's like Horus Ascended or Horus itself. But he seems to be like if that's the border hopper, it would be that he kills Primarchs.
Okay. Well, I mean that's literally what his job was.
I mean,
So
yes,
so
true.
it is very fitting. I will also say his warlord trait, both parts of it match the army perfectly because this is an army that kind of, for all intents and purposes, is sort of that one trick pony. You can take other stuff, of course, but when you think of what they want to do one thing, and he helps them do that one thing better. Unlike some of these other ones where they don't necessarily do that one thing much better. But all right,
That's his.
I'm fine with putting him up there, and we'll see if at any point we feel like switching him around. All right, that handles Space Wolves. Steve had the highs of getting his beloved Primarch to the highest tier, but now he has the lows of having to talk about Rogel Dorn, whom he does not enjoy.
Do you like Rogel Dorn? No.
Honestly, though, me and Dave were talking a little bit while you were having a bio break, and we'll see. I don't want to bias you before you say anything.
He's already biased.
Oh, hold on.
True.
Hold on. You know what Rogel Dorn would be really good represented by? The letter D. For did not successfully defend the palace. All right, so here we are, Rogel Dorn, the Primarch of the Imperial Fists, the quote-unquote loyalists that betrayed the value of the Imperial truth and started worshiping the Emperor as a god. He didn't, but his favorite son did. All right, Rogel Dorn. He is a duelist with weapon skill 8. That's very interesting. And he's tough at 7 wounds. That said, his stat line is otherwise quite unremarkable. He's got a 2-up, 4-up, and no attack may ever wound him on better than a 4-up, regardless of any special rules. So I guess just point all your assault cannons at him or something. I don't know. However, his unit could still get wounded on better values, so it's a weird little rules corner there.
Yeah. It's good when you're either in a challenge or he's the last one left, but if it's the whole unit, you're taking the shots versus the other things.
To be fair, Rogel Dorn is no stranger to letting his sons die for no net gain.
Oh
Let's see. He has
vitriol.
This is going to be the whole thing. Get ready. And it's just yeah. Any charge against him is disordered.
Nice to have.
Okay.
That's nice.
It's nice. Take away the attacks. That's nice. You know, just goes straight to ongoing combat essentially. except for the world leaders and emperor's children get their little buffs. Okay, that's cool. The best lack of progress is a good defense. And then we have Storm's Teeth. It is a chain weapon for anything that cares about that. Gets strength +2, so he's at that magical strength 8, causing instant death against Marines. AP2 is very nice. It's melee two-handed with Murder Strike on 6, Shred, and Reaping Blow 2. So if he's base to base with multiple models, he's gaining 2 attacks, which is rather notable. That'll put him at 8 attacks, 9 on the charge if he manages to pull it off. And that's a pretty good spot to be. The strength 8 means he's wounding dreadnoughts on 3s with Shred. So he's in a pretty decent position with the Storm's Teeth. And then he has a special bolt weapon, the Voice of Terra. He's going to hit on a 2, re-rolling, looking for 6s, and he gets a +1 because he's an Imperial Fist holding a bolt weapon. It's range 24, strength 5, AP 3, assault 3, rending 5 up, which is not a bad profile. That rending means that every now and then he'll be able to pick out a squad sergeant and just plink them off the table. Very nice. And his warlord trait, Sire of the Imperial Fists, is going to mean that they get to use his leadership of 10, which we agreed before was rather nice when we talked about for Fulgrim. And they get +1 to their successful wounds for close combat, which again, it wasn't Fulgrim that did that, right? You're going to do both.
Yeah,
Already forgetting.
no, so the difference was Fulgrim made your units use his leadership. He gives it to the character subtype may use his leadership. Yeah, if you look at his is actually a little bit different. Not by much, but it's a little bit different.
I did miss that nuance.
Yeah.
The Imperial Fists are known for their lack of, individual ability. They kind of lean on the chain of command to get anything done, and they're kind of ineffectual themselves unless someone else is telling them what to do. You know how it is.
Yeah.
+1 to wounds, and you get to pick a phase before the battle to have your bonus reaction.
Yeah.
The other difference in that warlord trait is Fulgrim's is specifically related to morale usage. His is just the always leadership. So if you're called to make a leadership test instead, his could apply. Fulgrim's only applies when it's actually a morale test.
True. Which means Dorn buffs librarians.
Yes, he does. That's the biggest distinction is really for the librarians.
Which is
interesting.
Which is maddeningly unfluffy, but we'll leave that aside.
Interesting. So Crusader's nice. Gets the 2 dice, pick the highest for sweep. That's always good. Furious Charge, puts him to strength 10 on the turn he charges, which is no joking matter. And he has native deep strike, so if he joins up with his Huskarls, they can just teleport onto the field, or if he's in that one Rite of War, it gives you squad teleport. He, I guess, has it already. Or he could teleport with a squad of assault marines is jumping out of a Thunderhawk. Don't think too hard about that one. But yeah, no, he's a rules-wise, he's a fairly decent duelist.
So where would you put him? Because me and Dave had a conversation before you came on, and I'm actually going to change my mind, Dave, on this one.
Our conversation was more about what he used to look like than what he looked like now, anyway.
True.
Yeah. All right.
Where are you thinking, Steve?
So the Voice of Terra is a solid weapon.
Yes.
Yes.
Storm's Teeth is a solid weapon.
Yes.
And the Auric Armor gives him reasonable durability once he gets into a challenge. I'm going to say in terms of army buffing, he's like... If you build towards the combat, he's a little above average. If you build towards the bolters, he's average. We'll call him average.
Okay.
In terms of dueling, he has reasonable staying power because of the Auric Armor. But he's not... he's dealing decent damage, too. I'll say he's above average dueling. and average army support. That puts him at like upper B, lower A.
So
I would say he's above Fulgrim.
I was gonna say C until because the big thing with C was I was looking at his stat line and I kind of skipped down to his rules and I was like, okay, he punches really cool. He's got a cool pistol, but that's really it. And then yeah, sure, he busts the character subtypes, but I'll get to why that also made me move up. I forgot that he had Deep Strike,
Okay, so that
which
does it
is
for you.
well, I'm gonna get to the Deep Strike. Let me get to the stupid one first. Dave, when you said character subtype, I was like, okay, that's cool. Leadership. That also works for blind. That works for
Not
concussive.
blind, concussive. Not
Oh,
blind.
blind is
Blind
not. Yeah,
leadership.
blind. Sorry, it works for concussive. It works for
Pinning.
pinning a bunch of stuff. So that's pretty cool. That I didn't realize was like a cool little side fact. I like the fact that he gets an additional reaction at the beginning of the battle, right? And it stays. So let's say you're playing White Scars, maybe you want additional movement or another shooting, sorry. And then you're playing the shooting army, maybe you want another shooting. So you kind of can figure out what you want. He gets strength 10, which is really, really scary, especially as a custodians player. Deep strike. This pushed him to B for me. I did not even notice the deep strike. And the reason this pushes it to B for me is because I remember when we were reviewing Imperial Fists, their deep strike units are some of the scariest things on the battlefield because they're one of the very few units in the game that can have 2 up, 3 up Terminators, right? Just like,
Yeah.
Fire Drakes, but they have strength 10 AP1 fists because they have Solarite fists.
So why doesn't
Or
that
they
make
have
him A then?
the only reason I'm not putting him in A is it's a very one trick pony. That's the like if there was some there's he has the maybe it is A then.
I mean,
I would
if
put
you're going to
I'm gonna
sit there and say
yes.
this unit is amazing and he can go with the unit and he makes them even
The
more amazing,
reason I'm sticking on B is because if you don't have that, then deep strike is useless for him. Because what are you gonna do?
but you
Deep
take
strike?
that.
Yeah, exactly. But that to me doesn't quantify A. Like when we look at the people that we put in A, right?
We put
Let me
no one in
see.
A.
Oh, we put people in S, and you know
Yes,
what's funny?
we have no one in
I
A.
know you're sharing your screen, but the
Yes.
shared screen only shows the lion.
Really? That's weird. I might
Yeah,
have to
it didn't
reshare, but
update.
I can't update it while I have it
Yeah,
open.
it's fine. Um, S to me was wow, you take him, he adds so much. A to me is you can take him and he adds cool things, right? B to me is he's cool. He deep strikes, but it's very much like if you don't take a deep striker with him, then what does he? Yeah, sure,
So,
he then deep strikes.
well,
That
okay,
to me
but
is why it's
you're losing one
B.
rule in that case.
Yeah,
To me, you're not taking the lion without taking someone good for him. You're not taking
true.
Perturabo without someone good for him. I
Also
think
very true.
it's automatically assumed that these guys are rocking with someone that makes sense for them to rock with. The same way as like Perturabo might want a
Yeah.
shooting unit because he just ignores night fighting and all of that. The same way the lion probably wants a close combat unit because that's what he's good at. He wants a deep striking unit because that is his thing.
So then, yeah, I put him in A. I would
Yeah.
absolutely put him in A then. And honestly, and I hate to be this like one rule trick, but deep strike is very powerful this edition. Exceptionally stupid level powerful.
Yeah.
And the fact that he can deep strike with 10 Terminators that have a 2 up, 3 up, strength 10 AP1 weapon. Um
No, I think that's fair because I think it's fair to
yeah,
look at someone and say that they're very good in sort of that B level, and then they have that one piece that pushes them further. Deep
yep,
Strike,
so I'd
like you
say
said, is very strong. It's tough to get in the game in general, and here's a guy who can do it. And I know no matter how good your weapons are, if you're wounding him, it's never more than fours. He can do a lot on his own, and he does aid your army. You want him down fast, but hopefully you get him turn 2, and now everyone's leadership is better. So even if you don't deep strike him, I think he still is very viable even without the deep
yeah,
strike.
I'd say A.
But
I'd say A.
he's still lower than your favorite boy there, Steve. But do you have any strong reasons to say no?
No, I think A is a reasonable spot because I do think he's better than Fulgrim, but only just.
All
That
right.
deep strike. Deep strike to me is an auto. Like, this is just a side note. Deep strike to me is an
It's neat.
automatic movement up. No, I think it's an automatic movement letter up. Deep strike is so stupidly powerful, but when you have melee units that can deep strike. I refer back to the last Apocalypse game where it was just literally, it wasn't even elite units. It was 15
Dan, that
spear
will
guardians.
never happen
Yeah.
again.
15
We have
spear.
Never,
we
never
have
use
in
Yeah,
one
duck
offs.
die now.
yeah.
We have
15
in duck
spear
die
guard.
now, Dan.
No.
You're never pitting us again.
No, it's
We're
very
immune to
simple.
that.
You don't use one-off scenarios to decide a good or a bad.
No, I know, but in all seriousness, deep strike with an army that wants to be in melee, because now you can deep strike off of deep, you can assault off of deep strike is so good. And have
Yeah.
a Primarch also have deep strike, A tier. Everything was B until I heard deep strike, and I was like, that's automatically A for
All right. Well, that puts
I
them to
mean, it
A.
didn't work out that well when they recorded the Vengeful Spirit, but
me.
All right. That
Moving on.
handles. Yep, that handles the Imperial Fist. All right. So, we are now on to the next Legion. So we are taking a look at Conrad Kurz, who is leading the Night Lords. Keep in mind, the Night Lords' whole premise is when they have more people than you do, when they outnumber you, that they get bonuses. So that's essentially what we're looking at. They also have ways to get things like night vision and all those sort of big things. And they can also keep it being night fighting for essentially as long as they like, up to turn 3. But that's, especially in the new missions, they're playing the new missions, that's 3/4 of the game. All right, so for Kurz.
And hold on,
Yes.
one last thing.
Yeah.
Just to make sure everyone knows. Primarchs are bulky 4 by default, so he is 4 towards the outnumbering count.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the base number. So for Kurz, he has that weapon skill of 8. He has the better ballistic skill at sitting at the 7. His initiative is a little better than some of the others at 7, not as good as some of the big boys, and 7 attacks, a good amount of attacks. He counts as a psyker. We'll mention he has exactly 1 psychic power, but he actually is a psyker for any rules that talk about psykers. He has hit and run. He has fear 3. Keep in mind, fear is a 12-inch bubble, so that is a lot. He has night vision base. So that means he both ignores night fighting in all the different ways, and you can't shroud against him. And then his other special rules he have relate to him who he is. All right, so for his Warlord trait, when he is your Warlord, he gets Sire of the Night Lords. All of your models that are infantry, dreadnought, or cavalry, and Night Lords as well, get night vision and bloody murder. And they're immune to the effects of fear.
Oh,
Bloody murder.
Oh my god.
Yep.
oh,
Bloody murder, for reminding people what bloody murder is, if you're charging someone who is pinned or falling back, you get +1 to charge, and if you make it, you get +1 attack. Remember,
how do we care about night fighting?
Night vision.
You can't
Night
take
vision.
evasion. Yeah. You can't evade against something with night fighting.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
So-
huge.
Yes. So all of your heavy weapons, if you take any of them, they're probably on infantry or dreadnoughts or cavalry, essentially not on your vehicles. You don't get to shroud against any of that sort of stuff. And if you pin these things, which he gives out a bubble of fear 3, and you have ways, rotor cannons, there's lots of ways to try to get pinning in this army. It's an army that wants to pin anyway. Bloody murder then will start coming into play.
and remember, it's night fighting, so you're -1 anyway. So it's fear 3 plus -1.
Yeah, assuming you don't have ways
Assuming
to
he's in
ignore
range,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. No, more of also assuming that you're not ignoring, because there are ways to ignore the minuses
Stubborn,
from that.
stubborn.
Nuncio
It's stubborn.
boxes.
Yeah,
Or
Nuncio
Nuncio.
Foxes. I wasn't thinking even stubborn. In addition, if he's your Warlord, you get an extra a reaction in the movement phase. I'm not as thrilled with that part of it, but that's okay. For his armor, he's got a 2-up, 4-up. Also, it means he ignores all modifiers to his movement from any source. He automatically passes dangerous terrain. And if he runs... Now, he needs to either be in the back of the unit to run forward or by himself. But if he chooses to run, he adds 12 to his movement instead of initiative. So as Steve put it when we were paused, he Batmans his way across the board. So he just
And
gets
really
over
quick,
there.
Dave, I will say the extra movement, I know you tossed it aside, but that works really well with the Advanced Legion trait, where they could just get super, super scared and they run away with their Advanced Legion
Oh no,
trait.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't not look at that. I'm just saying, if he's in a unit, he probably doesn't get to use all of that, depending on where he is. But no, overall,
Very
that is
true.
good. Yeah,
Well,
it's
the
just if
assault
you're in a
phase. It's
unit,
cool
he
because
doesn't
it's
get to run
movement
off.
phase, and their advanced reaction is assault phase. So you can actually move back in the movement, and
Oh,
then
okay, I
let's say
see
you
what
don't
you
want to
mean.
get charged, advance reaction in the assault phase,
Well, yeah, but
and move it back again.
yes, but the big thing is 2 in the movement phase means either because I'm trying to push forward on you, useful. I kind of like them better in assault phases or shooting phases in general, unless your advanced reaction is movement based. But that's just me. His weapons are mercy and forgiveness. Um, he does get the +1 attack for having the 2 of them. It's in his profile.
Is
So
not
when it,
included.
oh sorry, not included. Oh, why don't they include it?
Because
That's
they
so
like to ruin
dumb.
you. They do this all the
I don't know,
time.
but at least they tell you.
Yeah, okay. So he was 7 attacks. He's actually 8. Thank you for catching that. That's just stupid, and I hate it. Because he doesn't have other options. It's not like he can take other weapons. Their strength
They're
and
also identical.
yes, that's the other thing. Yeah, their strength user, the AP2, their melee shred with a murder strike on 4 up. So overall, strong. They're not necessarily Primarch destroyers, but they are very strong. He has his guns, which is the Widowmakers. It's a strength 4, AP5, assault 3, rending 4 up. Who cares?
Oh, wait. It's better rending than the Dorn.
Yeah, but I don't care about that weapon. I don't care about any of their shooting weapons unless it really does something good. We've had one person I care about the shooting weapon from so far. That's it.
Rending 4 up, picking who you hit is a big deal.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
I guess, but
Pick
I
out
don't
the
know.
squad sergeant. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I would like it more if it did one other thing. Whatever that thing
Oh,
is. Okay, I hit the sergeant, or I hit your guy with the Nunzio Vox, so that way
If it was
I
pinning, for example,
yeah, then I would care. Put it down to even a shot and make it pinning, and I care more. Just with this, I will hurt someone, but it's a Primarch. I'm not worried about plinking it down unless I can plink down and do something to you. And this guy doesn't quite do that. He has a death long foreseen because he could foretell his own demise. He gets a particular psychic power, nothing else, for his psychic power. He makes a psychic check. He makes it on leadership 7. And if he passes it, he gets Feel No Pain 4 up and an extra attack through the assault phase. If he fails it, he takes Perils of the Warp. And he has the King of Terrors. When he and any unit he has joined ends a combat by removing every model as a casualty or destroying them through a sweeping event. So when he wipes someone out in close combat, everyone that can see him as your enemy that's not in combat takes a pinning test. Now, that is absolutely huge because you have Fear 3. So in a 12-inch bubble, and let's face it, he's going to be amongst the enemy units. If he takes someone out, every enemy unit that's not locked in combat is probably taking a pinning test, and many, because 12-inch bubble is huge, most of them are probably taking it at -3 minimum, which means they're pinned, decent chance they're pinned, and if they're pinned, now you get all your other special bonuses.
Holy shit!
this guy's terrifying in Zone Mortalis.
I'm gonna
He
say
runs 20 inches, hides around the
Yeah.
corner, pops out, rips the squad to pieces with his bare hands, pins the rest. Oh my god.
Yeah. The other thing to keep in mind with these guys, their special rule, a talent for murder, is if you're outnumbered, falling back, or pinned, that you get your bonuses, essentially +1 to wound, or for armor pin. So if you are just pinning these units, you are getting that bonus. You don't even have to outnumber them anymore. I don't see how he doesn't. So when we did our Legion reviews, I don't remember exactly where we put them, but we put them reasonably low. The Legion in general, and I don't necessarily fully disagree with that. I know it was rather unpopular. I don't see how this guy doesn't.
I still think it should have been B.
Okay, well they were not though. I don't see how this guy doesn't rocket ship himself straight up to S.
Yes, 100%. I was just gonna say, if he's not S, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
I cannot think of another. I mean, ignore knights and vehicles. Even if a contemptor, he rips contemptors apart. First of all, his psychic power is always a 50, always a 50-50.
Yeah.
You might be, oh, but he gets -1. Nope. He's a Primarch. No, it's all
46, but yeah.
Oh, whatever. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, for Christ's sake, feel no pain for him. +1 attack. Just to feel no pain 4-up is absolutely insane.
But honestly, I put him at that tier even without that. Me personally, I'm
Just
not a big
just
gambler.
everything.
So I don't even care about that rule. Don't get me wrong, it's great. But I'm not a
Yeah.
gambler. I'm not using it. I don't care if I use it or not. His other things, if you're in a combat you're not winning, you can hit and run out. If you are winning it, if I wipe you away, I'm pinning all your other units. Remember, pinning, you're not then shooting back at me. I want to put him into the regular attack Marine squad in the middle of the board. Or the middle of your army. I wipe them out because they don't stand a chance. I'm then going to be pinning your heavy weapons and the big things that I'm worried about because I'm at a minimum -3, maybe even further. And now you're not shooting me. Now the rest of my army gets to push forward. Any issue we said they had, this guy eliminates.
And then even on top of that, Dave, just
Night vision for free.
ignoring all that, his warlord trait,
Yeah.
it's okay because they all have night vision.
Yeah. Now remember, they did have ways to get night vision, but they had to
Yes.
pay for it. Now they don't have to pay.
It's free.
Yeah, this was an army that could have had it. It wasn't impossible then for it to have some of this, but now you can have it without having to worry about any of that. It used to cost you 15 points. It was 15 points per unit. Now it's a freebie on your entire, essentially your entire army, not your vehicles. But here's the other thing. If you want it on your vehicles, Prey Sight is units that are all Night Lord models. So you could still buy it on your vehicles if you want your entire army to have it. So won't cost you anything on anything than a vehicle. Take it on a couple vehicles for 15 points each.
He's S. He's 100%
absolutely.
S for me. Yeah, this is a well-rounded Primarch.
Yes, he does.
He's the best.
So far, yeah. Of the ones we've talked about, Perturabo probably does better in like Converse of the guy, just because also like the unit he's probably bringing and things like that. But for all around of what you're going to do, unless you're going to slap Primarchs versus each other, he's beating everyone out that we've talked about. And honestly, he's going to beat most of them out that we're going to talk about as well.
Oh no, you charge me with a Primarch? Okay, bye.
Yes. Yeah, the only thing I would say, that's not a fight he might not want to be in because some of these Primarchs brutal and stuff like that.
He hits and runs.
He gets out of there, sprints 20 inches away, and goes and does shit somewhere else.
Yeah. No, he's of the ones we've talked about so far, I do feel he's the best overall. And of the ones that are going to come up, he's probably still going to be there or very, very close to it. So that takes us, hopefully, for anyone who was upset about our Night Lord's beliefs, hopefully that's redeemed you. All right. We're out of the 8s, on to the 9s, and on to
Sanguinius, which I won't spoil what happens to him in the second book of the end.
I swear to God, Dan. I swear to God. You don't shut up right now.
Did I spoil you in the chat? No, I did not.
Give the people a chance. Just saying there's a spoiler.
No, I didn't. Did I spoil the chat?
No, that's true. Saying there's a spoiler is a spoiler.
Oh, get out of here.
No, that absolutely is true. We're not going to tell you this cool thing, but there's a cool thing.
The problem is there's so many goddamn cool things in that book. I'm telling you, my jaw did not stop dropping. Abnett, I don't know if you listen to this podcast, but Abnett,
it'd be great if he does. If he does, put it in the comments.
Oh my god, damn it, Abnett! I hate the fact that you write so goddamn good every time. It kills me. You are my favorite author. Anyway, so okay, so movement 8, weapon skill 8. Okay, so we're looking at oh no, but he's got wings. That's right. It's like movement 8. That's the wings add more. I really weirdly 6 across the board, which is shocking for me.
It's a little low.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, for special rules, because war gear again, I kind of skip.
Yeah.
Special rules, he's bulky 6 because he's got big boy wings. Angelic presence, that's later. Great wings, that's later. He's got deep strike. There we are. So here's another one with deep strike. So I might not like him.
He's got wings. So
I might put him in C tier, but that deep strike, oh baby, he's going to be automatically. So he could also exchange his blade and carmine for the spear of Telesto and the moon silver blade for free. So he gets 1 weapon for 2 in case he want to switch it. So warlord trait. Again, same thing with It's All Blood Angels, the same thing. So basically, if they either deploy as part of a deep strike assault or any other deployment that's a deep strike assault, or they have the Legion Warhawk jump pack, they gain +1 weapon skill on the turn they make a charge. and then he gets an additional movement phase. Weapon skill is interesting. Normally, if this is 1.0 edition, I'd be like, who gives a shit? It's weapon skill 5, you hit on 3s, you still me on 4s. Now, all those assault marines that you're obviously taking with your blood angels because you should are now weapon skill 5 on the charge, meaning if you survive the charge, remember it's initiative 4. So I'm charging your attack marines, you're still striking me back, but I'm hitting you on 3s and you're hitting me on 5s. And I'm wounding you now easier because the Blood Angel rule is when they charge, they wound you one easier.
Yeah.
That's big.
Can I point out that Crimson Paladins do have built-in deep strike? That's their Terminators. They have deep strike built in.
Oh yes, and so I believe they're weapon skill 5.
Strike, they are weapon skill 5 base.
Yep.
So if they deep strike, they are weapon skill 6.
Ugh, yes, that's surprisingly an excellent. Again, normally weapon skill would be like, okay, but on these guys who want to be in charging, want to get, that's excellent. And movement phases, whatever. That doesn't really help because they're in. So we got a lot of rules.
Yeah, he gets a lot. Some of these guys have been very rules light, but his big one is the wings, which is just
the wings, which I'm gonna very much summarize. So angelic presence, basically any friendly units that are locked in combat and have at least one model within 6 inches. Basically add +1 to the number of successful wounds. So it's a very long way of saying if you are within 6 inches and locked in combat with Sanguinius, you get +1 to wounds for combat resolution.
Not locked in with Sanguinius. You have to be just within 6 of him.
Locked in combat, sorry.
Be Sanguinius himself.
Comma. I should have added a comma in my sentence.
Yeah, Oxford comma that.
Oxford comma.
And it does not stack. So if you have a flag, well, congrats.
Oh, does flag? I don't play the. Okay, flag does add
is
stuff.
+1.
Yeah.
Okay. So in case you don't know,
flag adds. Yeah.
So like Terminators, I don't think get flags. So there we go. So it helps like Terminators and stuff. Do Assault Marines get flags? They do. Okay.
Assault Marines do not. Terminators.
Do. Okay. So there. So there we go. Because I was going to say, you want to take Assault Marines with this army. This is a very much big Assault Marine heavy army. Like White Scars were bikes.
What?
These guys are Assault Marines.
The angelic hosts want to descend on wings of fire.
So I didn't know they didn't take banners. So that actually does matter then for me. So that actually is good then. He's got a 2-up, 4-up, and allows any failed almost save made on the turn, which the Sanguinius charges to be rerolled. So on the turn he charges, he rerolls his 4-up. That's great. Rerollable 4-up is a
75% chance.
Yeah, it's a 3-up. Okay, good.
Better than 3-up.
That's better than 3-up.
Oh,
not by much, but it is technically better.
Yeah. All right. Great wings. He moves 14. This is a 14-inch move. I don't want to read all the wings.
Essentially, he's got wings. He's a jump pack. That's all it boils down to.
It's 14 inches. Oh, that's okay.
Jump pack 14.
Yeah, because all the dangerous terrain, all that stuff is the same way for jump pack. So he's got a jump pack.
Got it. Perfect. I want to focus on his. Normally, we kind of like the ranged weapon. I'm not this time. He's got a pistol. I should say it's not a pistol. Sorry, but it is a pistol. It's a melt-a-gun. 18 inches, strength 8, AP1, assault 2, armor bane, melta, 1 shot. So sure, it's 1 shot.
Watch me roll snake eyes.
I know, but remember, Primarchs can choose what they shoot. So for that one turn, you might get super lucky and pick out that. Let's say you shoot a Praetorian, Praetorian, yeah, a Praetor. Shoot a Praetor, hit it on 2s. So let's say you get 2 hits, wounded on 2s. You might get 1 or 2 wounds. It's got a 50-50 shot of dying.
If you get to 2, it's 75%.
Okay.
That he would die.
So
if you get everything through.
Yeah, that's to kill a Praetor. That's great. I like that. Yeah.
Or a tank.
Or a tank.
Yeah, to melt gun shots at a tank.
I was thinking of popping a Praetor. That's fine with that. But yeah, that's a good weapon. It's a good pistol weapon that you do want to shoot. And it's 18, which is nice. So, like I said before, he gets the Blading Carmine or the Spear of Telesto and Moonsliver Blade. So let's go with Blading Carmine first. Blading Carmine is +1 strength, so strength 7, AP 2, rage 2. So on the charge, he bumps up to 8 attack. Oh, sorry. He bumps up to strength 9. Right, is rage? No. Rage is attacks.
Rage is attacks.
Rage attacks. So he bumps up to 8 attacks. Rage used to be strength. That's why I'm going crazy. Rampage. Oh, there it is. Rampage 2. So if he is outnumbered, he goes up by 2 attacks. Murderous Strike 5 up, Shred, and Mastercrafted. So overall, not a bad melee weapon, actually. I mean, none of the Primarchs have had a bad melee weapon, but that's actually pretty scary. I mean, Strength 7 base, which is not bad, but then getting all these buffs if he's outnumbered and charging, okay.
Yeah.
But you can trade it for the Spear of Telesto and the Moonsliver build, which annoyingly, they split the shooting attack, which annoys the hell. Anyway, sorry. So, Spear of Telesto is a shooting weapon and a melee weapon. I'll start with the shooting, because I don't know why they put it at the bottom, but it didn't, whatever. So, Spear of Telesto, range 12. Does he have firing protocols too, or no, by the way?
No. So the Blade of Telesco, you may fire it once per battle, and you fire it instead of any other weapons. So both of his weapons, if you take this, are once per battle weapons.
Right. So he can pick it when he shoots, but it is Strength 10, AP 1, Exoshock 4 up, Instant Death, Lance. So, do you want that tank dead or do you want that person dead? It's the same thing.
There's one other very big important thing in that rule.
Oh, really?
When he uses this, he may not shoot it again or make melee attacks with the spear. He throws it.
Oh.
That's why they put it separate. He actually throws away the spear.
Oh, what a shame. So let's see what he threw away. Spear is Strength 10 in melee, Strength 10, AP 1, melee, two-handed, so no bonuses there. Mastercrafted, Lance, and Exoshock. Okay, so someone who has the Ackless Custodian Contemptor, excellent for taking out tanks. That is you have a tank or a knight, I am killing you. For those who don't know, Lance makes it so that your armor value is 12, essentially, that all the time. So Strength 10 hitting armor value 12. And then also penetrating extra on Exoshock 4, AP 1. I think this is actually better than Perturabo's anti-tank. Huh. Perturabo's what, Strength 12?
By the way, I did forget one thing.
Oh,
he's an Iron Warrior. He will automatically penetrate knights because he'll be Strength 13 against them.
Then never mind. Okay, then back to never mind. I should have that one. Jesus Christ, Perturabo. Yeah. So he literally is one. Okay, so this is still a good anti-tank weapon.
Yes.
If he throws it away, Moonsliver Blade is Strength User, so Strength 6, AP 2, Melee, Mastercrafted, Blind, Duelist Edge, and then Moonsilver. Oh, I like this. And this is actually really important now. That's fun. Okay, so any unsaved wound caused against a model with Demon or Psyker counts as 2 wounds. Wounds caused in excessive amount of wounds do not spill over other models. So let me explain to you why I like this.
Means you can kill Curse.
This is better of Blade and Carmine. So Blade and Carmine is great. You get bonuses on the charge. This one, Spear of Telesto, is great, but if you throw it away, you have the Moonsliver Blade, which looks like a suckier Blade and Carmine.
It is.
Booty case. But with now demons having their official PDF, and with traders now taking demons or fitting esoteric taking demons because they are absolutely terrifying, right? Because when we get to Logar next session, we'll talk a little bit about why that's terrifying. But the TLDR is with an esoterist, you can react, right? And you can summon demons. So if someone's charging you, you can summon demons right in front of you. Or you can just Pokeball demons from wherever the hell you want and summon weapon skill 5 brutes. Stuff like that, essentially.
In a moment, I can help you look.
So you will be seeing more and more demons because now more and more people want to be taking demons. And because demons don't have set models, people are going to be taking these brutes and maybe these sovereigns, so on and so forth, right? This, now, if someone charges you with demons or you charge demons, that's Strength 6, Mastercrafted, so you're basically going to hit everything. Blind, most demons are initiative 4 unless you're the higher demons. And you're doing 2 wounds per thing. Now, they don't spill. I wish they did. That would be kind of cool. That would be kind of unique because there's no spilling in this game. I feel like that's actually, like, before when we didn't have demon rules, this was very much like, who gives a shit? Now with an actual official demon PDF, I say this is pretty damn powerful. In fact, better than the Blade and Carmine.
No, I still put Blade and Carmine is better. I think you have demons, so you are coloring how often you think you're going to see demons.
I think you underestimate the ability.
Murder Strike 5 is better.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But I think you're underestimating people wanting to take demons. Because I think people are maybe ignoring it, but you stick an esoterist in your army, you take a squad of like 6 brutes. That is absolutely. I just like the fact that no one had an answer to demons here. He does.
I
Because
still
demons are
wouldn't
big.
necessarily say that he has an answer, honestly. Yes, he can potentially cause some more wounds versus them. He's got to get to them. They have to be the ones he's fighting. I think you're putting way too much on like, oh, if you happen to run in this very particular thing, it's good.
Okay.
It is good. That's nice, but that's like a super niche thing. You know, that's be like if someone has, if I run, I have a rule against saber tanks, and I'm better against saber tanks. Yeah, but if you don't see a saber tank, it ain't going to do any good.
So I was going to put him in C, ironically, because I was going to say he really doesn't like the buff to the Blood Angels is great, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, he's not really that good, right? Is it just me?
No, I agree. And here's the thing: we also got to keep in mind, we got to put people in these other tiers.
In C, I know. I was going to put him in C. Deep Strike, though.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you're not that thrilled with him in Deep Strike isn't necessarily going to make that
exactly
difference.
Doesn't really do anything. I was gonna. So you know what? I'll say it like this: maybe he was even going to be in D. What's saving his ass right now is that +1 weapon skill. That's what's saving his ass right. It was either going to be B or C for me.
Great army buff. He's a really
amazing
good army buff.
Yeah.
As a solo model, less so.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not wowed by
army
him.
Buff. He's an A tier buffer, C tier duelist.
I'd say C tier. Maybe not C tier. No, I'd even say D.
His shooting doesn't exist.
No, I'd say D tier duelist.
I mean,
sure, he's weapons skill 8, but he's not even like unless he's charging, he's not even insta killing people. Like it's just honestly, I'd say C. I'd say here's our first C candidate for C, if not the lowest bottom of rung of B possible.
If you build into Deep Strike and jump packs,
then I'd say B.
He slingshots the A. If you don't, he's a C.
No, okay, so here's the thing. Let's say you build for Deep
Strike. That's the problem.
Let's say you build for.
Let Steve finish talking. Stop interrupting him.
Explicitly build around the Deep Strike, or else he adds almost nothing to the army as a whole. And as a singular piece, he's really cool. But I have watched him get domed by a sniper rifle in a mega battle. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
And even if you do it and you bring him in with a Deep Strike, that was a mega battle, so you can only draw so much information out of it. But it was bloody. It was violent. It was really cool to watch.
Yeah. I
don't know.
Now, again, part of it is, like I said, we put this requirement that people have to fill every tier because otherwise most people are just in the middle. Like, that's not interesting. When I look at him for the moment, again, one, we're not going to finish this all tonight, so we're obviously going to have to revisit some of these guys, and they might shift when we revisit, when we think about them. I'm fine with putting him in C, at least for the moment, because, again, yes, I think the buff that he gives out, army-wise, is quite nice. I think it can do a lot of good. I think he himself can do quite good, but when I look at what he does for himself, I'm not ultra thrilled with it. When I look at the buff, that's the only buff he gives. Now, it's a very good buff. It's a very strong buff. And you have ways to make good use of it. But it is
weapon skill 6 Dreadnought. If you take the jump Dreadnought and Deep Strike it.
Yeah, which is great and very funny. Part of my issue with it is that's the only thing he does to help. Where not even his stat line, I don't think, is necessarily helping his army. You know, some of
his stuff, cheerleader.
Yeah, some of the stuff just has too many like little bits. Like the fact you have to switch from the weapons. I really do like the spear, but I never want to end up using it because I don't want to be stuck with the other blade. The blade on Carmine is good, but it doesn't quite do as much. Yeah, it's really good at like I can kill tons of like regular guys, but all the weapons can kill tons of regular guys. The murder strike is only on a 5-up. And his base strength is going to be, 7? So I'm not even one-shotting Terminators. You know.
And Steve, when you said, "Oh, you build for the assault," that to me automatically makes it C to me, because he's really good when you deep strike, except
or have jump packs. If you have jump packs, it counts as well at all times.
Which to me is like, oh, that's cool, but it's just like, yeah. It's a great buff, but I don't know. I say C.
So Crimson Paladins will be deep striking. The Dreadnought will be deep striking.
Yeah.
Jump packs could be deep striking or walking.
Yes.
We have to those other two in deep strike for it to benefit them.
Yes.
And then anybody within 6 is getting +1 to combat. That 6-inch range is really tight. So
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend it's not there at all.
I agree.
So basically, you're running Assault Marines and Crimson Paladins in deep strike, which is not bad.
It's the kind of thing of like, and again, points aren't the biggest concern here, but he's also the most expensive we've seen so far, which a lot of his rules kind of boil down to, I'm paying that amount of points to get this +1 to weapon skill, which is very good. And I'm getting an okay model for the other things. Again, his stat line is decent. He can do some killing, but anything with that kind of stat line in a weapon is going to do killing. Is he going to be able to go toe-to-toe with a lot of these guys? If he charges because he gets the rerollable 4-up, yeah, maybe. But if he gets charged, no. Is he going to do that much otherwise? Could he, like you said, when he comes down, could he just get shot down? Yes. Or at least his whole unit can be, and then he's on his own. So I'm fine with C for now, because also, one, someone's got to go there sooner or later, and he doesn't thrill me. And if I'm not thrilled at all, that's probably a good spot for them to go.
It's
all right.
okay. We probably got a D tier soon anyway.
Yeah. All right. That takes us through the first bit there. That takes us through Sanguinius.
Why? No.
All right. And for the last one that we're going to take a look at tonight, we have Ferrus Manus, the Iron Man, Man-Hand, Iron himself.
Yes. We have
So
Ferrus
bad.
Manus, meaning Iron Hand. He commands the Iron Hands from his ship, the Hand of Iron.
He knows what he likes.
And fun fact, his hands are made of metal. Who would have
Not
guessed?
iron though.
I'll say, oddly enough,
Not
though,
iron.
not iron.
Not iron. Strangely. So we have Ferrus Manus. He is a little below the curve on weapon skill, but he makes up for it with strength and toughness 7. He hits hard. He is actually the only heavy Primarch, I think, so far.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he is the only
That-
heavy so far.
I don't think Bernardo was heavy.
No. I don't
Which
believe
is
so.
weird because he's like in Terminator. I'm checking that real quick. Yeah, no, Bernardo was not heavy.
No.
This
he's
guy
like the
is.
only one.
Yeah. He's initiative 6. Okay, yeah, he's average strength toughness 7, otherwise average stat line. He's the only heavy Primarch, so he's re-rolling his armor saves against blast weapons. Good for you, good for you. His war gear, he's gonna have a 2-up armor, a 3-up invul. So he is, once again, tanky. He's got a servo arm for that little bonus strength 8 slap in combat. He's got Forge Breaker for strength 12, AP 1, Mastercrafted, Brutal 3, Exoshock 3-up hits in close combat. No, it's at initiative. Initiative 6. So he's gonna swing and he's gonna mess someone up if and when he connects. He's only weapon skill 7 though, so he's not hitting often, but his hits are substantial. He also comes with a Mastercrafted Plasma Blaster for some shooting, and a Mastercrafted Graviton Shredder for some spite against Dreadnought shooting, and a Heavy Flamer, and a Grenade Harness.
Servo arm
And
has
he
a
could-
melt gun, right? Does servo arm have a melt
No.
gun, or am I
No.
Machinator, right?
Machinator, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
He's Ballast with 2-up, Firing Protocols 3 is a good shoot. His Plasma Blaster, Graviton Shredder, and Heavy Flamer all in the same turn. And for his Warlord trait, he is going to give all of your Iron Hands Feel No Pain 6-up. It doesn't stack with other rules. And all your vehicles will gain it will not die 5-up. So your shit that was getting -1 strength against shooting, is now also getting Feel No Pain. You gonna be tanky.
Ooh,
He has the least amount of rules.
but ironically, like he's one of the better Primarchs we also talked about. The irony of you don't need to say much to do.
See,
Like-
this is what I think of when I think of like a classic Primarch. He buffs the army with an army-wide rule. It's like, hey, you brought your Primarch. That means you got the elite of your legion here. They gain this rule. And then he just beats face in combat.
I mean, his shooting's not bad though. Like Plasma Blast is
No,
what
it's
18
not.
inches, breaching
Assault 2.
4, strength 7, assault 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you could breach someone kind of easily, but
Yeah. And
um,
the Graviton Shredder is going to be 2 shots with concussive for anyone who cares. But more importantly, it's haywire.
Yeah.
I
And if you break a transport, you charge dudes inside.
yeah,
The
and I think a 6-up field of pain is 17% increase in survivability.
16.6.
Yes, 17.
Yeah.
um,
So his weapon is quite good. When looking at him, actually, I said before he's sort of a Primarch destroyer, but he's really not. It depends on the Primarch because some of the other ones swing first. Now he does have a 3 at Boneville save, which is very good. But if they can get through that, he does go after quite a few of these Primarchs with his initiative being a 6. When you think of the more fighting type Primarchs, he is slower than them. But his weapon is overall the scariest that any of these Primarchs have, and honestly, it's going to be the scariest just about any of them have whatsoever. The only thing it's missing is instant death.
I think it actually evens out because most of the Primarchs we talk about have a 2-up, 4-up. Very few of them have 2-up, 3-up.
That's very
and
true.
Sure, they'll hit him on a 3, but he'll hit him on a 5. But all of their big weapons have murder, strike, or instant death, which he doesn't care about.
Well, but
And
it does at least guarantee the wound, though, is the key. Well,
But what I'm saying is
when you get to that, when you get actually, I should say
Primarch,
no, stop. What I actually should say is murder strike doesn't guarantee the wound. The level of the strength is going to be what does it. Or some of them have fleshbane when they had it as well. That kind of thing. Yeah.
But then he has brutal 3, so his hits will basically be that. I think it evens out actually more than you think.
It's not that it doesn't even out. It does reasonably well. The key is the unevening factor is who goes when.
Yeah.
On average, he's getting like 5 or 6 wounds on to a model before saves against dueling Primarch because he'll hit on a 5, which is a third of the time, but then that third of the time he's doing 3 damage.
Yeah, because he's going to wound on 2s with a strength of 12.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what the reason I would say is not necessarily always the best versus other Primarchs is because if someone goes earlier than him, they have a chance of taking him down. Some of these Primarchs absolutely could. Again, dice will dice. But on average dice, some of these other Primarchs have a shot at taking him out first. And if they don't, I think he will do a lot of bad things to them in return. Yeah. But if they do, he doesn't get the swing. He doesn't get to do anything that cool.
He does repair. I don't know if you met. He does repairs.
Yeah, it's Battlesmith 2 up.
What's funny? He can't join robots.
No, he cannot.
Oh, he can. Okay,
nope, doesn't have the right equipment.
I'm gonna say B. I'm gonna give him a B. Believe it or not, I was gonna say A, but funny enough, not joining robots knocked him down to a B for me.
No, I would never give him A. I don't think he's that good.
I'd say B.
Feel No Pain is good though.
It is. It's only 6-up though, and you might be taking a path. Now, mind you, those Gorgons are going to be hilarious with a 6-up Feel No Pain, and -1 strength to shoot them.
Yeah, but they already have options to get Feel No Pain.
Gorgons? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
As a Terminator, not so much. Well, they already have Feel No Pain in a 5-up.
They
so
have
Medusan Immortals. He's buffing your.
Okay, sorry, Medusan Immortals. That's what I was thinking. Yes.
Yeah.
They have it built in a 5-up already anyway.
I'd say B. Yeah. I'd say solid B. Like solid all around. He shoots good. He hits good. He buffs good. He's not the best buffer. He's like just good. I'd say B.
I think that Feel No Pain is going to come up. I think the Will Not Die is a little bit better than the Feel No Pain because I think the Feel No Pain is going to come a lot less than you think. Because we have the Gorgons who have it. We have Heart of the Legion on certain units, on your TAC Marines, all of that. And yeah, 6 is something, but I'm only making it 16% of the time, and that's assuming I'm allowed to even take it. There's many cases where you don't get to, because if someone's going to instant death you out, you don't even get the rule. So on a 6, I mean, I played Orcs before with t-shirt saves. The only reason they felt good is because I was rolling 30 of them. If I'm only rolling a handful, I'm going to feel good that time I get that one when I really need that guy to live, but most of the time he won't.
That's fair.
I think maybe what raises him up, like you were saying before, is that like bolters don't affect him, stuff like that. Being the fact that it's like -1 to the strength of weapons versus him, I think helps him more. I don't know, Steve, where do you want to put him? In shooting, yeah, I should say in shooting. Absolutely. Where did you want him to be?
So for his pure damage output, he's like an A.
Yeah, I can believe that.
But that's kind of all he does,
I agree.
which puts him at like B for beater, because isn't like he gives the army a buff. Like Able Not Die is nice, Feel the Pain is nice. Funny enough, he doesn't buff dreadnoughts. Thank God they don't need it.
No. I'd almost. So I'm okay with putting him in B for now, but I'm going to think about this over the next bit because I almost want to put him lower. And the reason I want to put him lower,
in C, right?
That's where I'm thinking. And the reason I'm thinking C is the rule he gives army wide. No rule you ever get is a bad rule. We're not even going to say, oh, it's not that bad. Of course it's not bad. It's a rule you get. You give me a rule, that's a great thing. But my use of it is very limited, I think, in many, many ways. Or at least in terms of change. I'd rather have almost every other rule I've been given other than that one so far. These other people have given it. Because there's lots of ways I either don't get my rule because I already have it or have it better. I have apothecaries, I have Heart of the Legion, I have all these sorts of rules. I have the right type of Gorgon armor. Or you're too strong and I don't get it anyway. And I think when we look at what he does, yes, he is good. He is good versus... Oh, sorry, move the thing a little bit. He is good versus non-special things. They all are. Like, it's pointless to say he's good at killing certain things because, of course, he's going to be good at killing those sorts of things. I think what we have to take a look at is... sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. I wanted to get to him so I could look at his stuff. That helps me out. When I look at it, I don't know. Like, I'm just not thrilled. That's the problem.
I agree with you. The only thing that's making me B tier is the fact that he does give 6 of Feel No Pain and a 5-up, and a 5-up it will not die.
The 5-up it will not die is better than 6-up Feel No Pain.
I agree. No, I agree. That is the only reason I'm putting him in B tier. Yeah. His shooting is it's okay. His weapon is massive, but okay. I mean, he could kill Contemptors real good. Actually, I will say he is the Contemptor killer. 100%.
Yes, so he's good versus Dreads. There. Absolutely, yeah. I'll give him that every day of the week. He's very good versus Dreads.
But like, if I'm gonna give him C,
yeah,
right, I would agree with you. Would be because Feel No Pain is so lackluster sometimes when you need it, right, and you're not taking it in large quantities, right?
Yes, and you have a lot of other ways to get it.
The counterpoint to that is because 6 of Feel No Pain is free with him. And he gives it to himself. Is he is he infantry? Hold on.
He's
a Primarch.
Primarchs aren't
He's a
infantry
Primarch,
based.
Okay, so he doesn't even give it to himself.
No.
So then he doesn't even. It will not die, which is so.
Nope.
So yes, he does. As a Primarch,
yes.
Yes. You guys will die. Okay.
But he doesn't get like a better version or anything.
Yeah, because that's his whole thing that he repairs. Whatever.
He's gonna repair all of his damage.
I was gonna make that joke, jerk.
Got it. First.
It's just
don't lose your head over it, man.
I would say if he's C tier, he's absolutely the top of C tier. Like, absolutely the top.
Yeah.
But I'm more comfortable with putting him bottom of B tier because at least he does do something he's average for me. Like, who do we put as average before? Let me see your screen real quick. Let me go back to
the Lion.
Who was our average B?
So
it was the Lion.
He runs up and he
if the Lion was our
really
B,
good.
No, hold on. If the Lion, Khan, and Fulgrim was our B, then no, I'm changing my mind. He's C tier.
Yes, that's more my thought.
I just realized who we put in B.
Yeah, if we're calling them, the middle, good middle, C. I don't think he does as much as they do. Yes,
they do.
He can fight, but they all can fight to an extent.
And
most of
these
these guys
my change
fight.
Of mind. There's my change of mind. I just realized who we put in B tier, and I'm gonna be honest with you. God, even like Sanguinius, he gives +1 weapon skill, which is so much better than plus the 6 of Feel No Pain.
It's the sort of trade-off there. Sanguinius does more for the army, but less for himself. Ferris does more for himself, but much less for the army. And both of them, unfortunately, get a little lackluster in both.
Can I be mean? Maybe I'm even going to put him in D tier. Because if I compare him and Sanguinius...
Is it D for decapitated?
The D for decapitated. Let me explain why. And I hate to bump you down even more, but let me explain. Let's look at him and Sanguinius. Now we haven't looked at the other Primarchs yet, right?
Yes.
We're missing Valdor, we're missing all the but if I'm looking at him and Sanguinius, and I'm looking at what Sanguinius does for the army, what he does for the army, and both their kill potential, and both their buff potential, both their move potential. Remember, Sanguinius can move 14 inches. This guy can't even run. Sanguinius can shoot his one-shot melting. Yeah, Sanguinius can shoot his one-shot melting gun. This guy has maybe a plasma blaster that can breach on a 4. It's not even rend, it's breach. So this guy doesn't even really like kill 2-up saves. Sanguinius can and pick who he wants. Sanguinius can kill demons. This guy really, I know this guy will instant death them.
Yeah,
So
well, he
both
takes
go
down
back.
because he's AP
Yeah.
1. So like he can hurt 2-up saves.
It's
you know,
yeah,
he hurts them better
I
than
hate to say
Sanguinius did.
this. I would even put him in D. And I know that's going to cause controversy. I'm going to put him in D. I'm going to argue for D. Because I'm looking at him and Sanguinius. Look at him and Sanguinius side by side, right? Look at their buff potential. Who's just better? Sanguinius by a long shot, right?
Yeah, buff
And you
potential,
look at their-
yes.
No.
As an individual, he's better though.
He's just better. And
Yeah.
Who? Manus or Sanguinius?
Yeah, Manus.
Manus is better in general because he at
He's
least
gonna roll
doubles out.
up in a Spartan
Yeah.
and raffle stomp something.
Yes.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Sanguinius is deep striking with assault marines, and he just runs away. Like I would not put Ferrus Manus in C even. I'd actually put him in D. And that's not me like hating the Iron Hands. Is D active? Is D for detrimental? Because then I'm not going to put him in D.
Well, okay. None of them are truly going to be
Yeah, detrimental.
horribly detrimental. Let's
Yeah.
face it. What I would say as D, not necessarily
Yeah.
detrimental, but more of
Okay.
there might
How
have
about
been
this,
better.
Alex?
There's better choices.
Would you rather have him or 2 contemptors?
I'd rather
That's how
have
the
two
points
contemptors.
shake out.
I'd want 2
I'd rather have 2
contemptors.
contemptors. So that's why I put him in D. Yep, there it is. I hate to do that.
Yeah,
Like, I was
if
thinking
that's the way you're going to
Sanguinius-
look at it, I want
Yeah.
2 contemptors.
If I'm taking Sanguinius or 2 contemptors, I'm taking Sanguinius. If I'm taking 2 contemptors or Ferrus Manus, I'm taking 2 contemptors, hands down.
Does the Legion trait affect that choice?
Absolutely.
It makes me want those contemptors even more.
It makes me
Yeah.
want to.
Well, there
Sorry,
you
Ferrus
have it.
Manus.
I'd rather
There
have
we
2
go, he's in D.
contemptors.
All right.
Jesus Christ, that's the stat. Wow.
He'll beat up.
Steve-
He will beat up 2
Steve-
contemptors.
Yes.
But
But 2
in
contenders can
terms
do
of
much more.
army buff, yes.
This is why I didn't want it to end up becoming the Primarch v Primarch at all times. We can do a
Exactly.
Primarch v Primarch if people want to discuss that. But yeah, he's good at that. And
Is he
okay, he
though?
can kill some other guys, but they all can kind of do that. We want to talk a little bit more holistically of what they do. Even then, fighting Primarchs, there's many ways in which he loses versus other Primarchs. He's not
Yeah, I
a
was gonna say,
guarantee.
and not to like skip ahead or anything, but like
And remember, we do have to
freaking,
get at least
what's-
2 people in each one. So sooner or
I
later,
know.
someone's got to
But
get
not
down
skip
there.
ahead. If we're going to argue Primarch versus Primarch, I'm going Vulcan.
Yeah, I can see that. I
I'm
can
going
believe
Vulcan.
that.
Because he's just Vulcan has it will not die 4-up, and he's got the same strength and toughness, same weapon skill, right? Same wounds, but he's got it will not die 4-up. Sure, he's not brutal 3, but like 2-up, 3-up, and yeah, no, just I'm sorry, he's D tier for me.
Yeah, and like I said, that's where we're putting him for now. We're obviously going to
Yeah.
have to do another episode to finish this, and we can do some shifting around. So we'll have some time to think about it. And when we're done that other episode, I'll tell you right now, we're going to pause for a little bit, and we'll think about it, and then we'll unpause and kind of have that discussion. We can move people if we need to, but hey, I think it's reasonably fair. He's great for what he does. Unfortunately, he just doesn't do that much. All right.
Yeah,
So this gives us our first half, or about the first half. We started a little late because we did that other little recording that you would have been able to see if you took a look. I most likely will only release that other little recording. It's related to some events that are coming up, especially some charity events. That's probably only going to be up on the YouTube. So if you do have interest in that, you can look for it there. I might not put it on the podcast. I'll probably put it on the podcast, but you won't see anything. But this gives us the first half. So the idea is next week we are going to go through and finish this up. When we're done with that, we also want to talk special characters and do a very similar discussion. That way, now that we've seen all this and we have more experience in the game's been out for a while, we can have more thoughtful discussions on this rather than sort of first looks sort of ways. All right, so that does it for us tonight. A few pieces about this. One, as always, we do thank everyone who watches, listens, or in whatever way you consume all of our content. Remember, we put this out in every podcast. We put this out on YouTube as well. We do put a variety of other things out on YouTube. Some of it is unique there. Some of it's also on the podcatcher. Lately, I've been putting out my continuing series on why play different armies in Conquest. Next up is going to be Wadroon. The hope is to have them out by Sunday, but I have to see. I got a long work day tomorrow, so I'm going to try to get them out in time. We'll see about that for sure. I also have some board game reviews I'm starting to work on as well. And for things that are coming up. So a few things we're going to be doing coming up. We have a couple special guests that are going to come on, hopefully reasonably soon. One of them is essentially the rules writer for Cyberpunk, which is done by Monster Fight Club. So we're going to have the rules writer for that on to talk about the game and game theory and game design. We're also going to have some other writers for a different miniatures game. I'll talk more about that once I finalize some things with them. So we're going to have some other designers on with us to talk both about their game design, all of those sorts of topics. We have plenty more 30k, although as I always say, if you have suggestions of content, topics, or anything like that, place it in the show notes below. Or sorry, place it in the comments below. I do the show notes. Place it there to tell us things because we want to do the things that people want to hear us talk about, you know. If you are not subscribed to us on YouTube, please do so. When I last checked, it's like 70% don't subscribe right now. It really helps us out, especially as we start getting closer to that 1,000 mark, which once you hit that, then YouTube cares about you and you get seen a lot easier. So all of that really does help us out. If you're enjoying our content, the other way you can support us if you wish to, we do have a Patreon. We do have it up. I currently don't lock anything behind it. At some point, I might be little weird offshoots of things that I wouldn't want to put out to the general public anyway because they're weird. So there might be some of that stuff if I get around to it. Maybe over the winter break when I have lots of time. For other things we have coming up, like I said, we have some other 30k. We have those sort of things. The Conquest stuff I'm doing. And hopefully we'll get some more battle reports out to you soon. We have some plans for some stuff in December at least. We might get the stuff earlier, but there's not really that much time in the month left. Any other announcements, gentlemen, before we call it a night? Okay, they're both very, very quiet. So that means I'm the only one with announcements, and that's fine. All right, well. On behalf of everyone here at the show, have some good hobbying and some great gaming.